Paper-3B Goods and Services Tax at intermediate level. Today's topic is value of supply. I am CA Shefali Jain and I am your faculty, your mentor for today's session. Topic for today is value of supply. So in the last class, Rohini ma'am has taken the chapter of value of supply. She had covered all the key concepts, all the core concepts of value of supply, and now we'll be covering the remaining aspects of the topic so that we can understand the nuances, further nuances of this topic. So in fact, I think most of you were there in the last session also. Good evening, Sridhar. Just a minute. Give me a
प्लीज Zoom का उठाइए.
So I would suggest all of you to be participative in this class. Good evening, Tanu, Sridhar, then Harshal, Surinder, Mithili, Dhanlakshmi, and Veerashri. Good evening to all of you. So now we'll be starting with the session without any further delay because today we want to cover the nuances of this topic. Quickly, we have a recap of what you have done in the last class. I will ask you a few questions also to know that how much you have understood in the last class, and then we'll start with more examples, questions, because our focus is that to complete value of supply chapter in today's class. One important thing is that in value of supply at intermediate level, we have covered only section 15 of the CGST Act. There are valuation rules also under CGST rules, but that is not covered at the intermediate level. That is not applicable for the intermediate level. So you only have to be conversant with section 15 provisions as well as the circulars which have been made applicable for you in the study material, which are covered in the study material. To that extent you have to study. Okay. So we'll start with the cycle of GST. We'll quickly have a recap and then I will ask you a few questions. So if we see the cycle of GST, it starts with supply, then we have charge of GST, then place of supply, exemptions, time, and then comes value of supply. So we are here at present. You have covered all these stages earlier in this session, in the sessions taken by various faculties. And today we'll start once again go through that. We have a quick recap of those stages. So this is value of supply topic which we are going to take today. That when you have computed the time of supply also, you have determined the time of supply also, then what will be the value on which GST has to be charged. So first I will start with the first point, that is, first of all, what we do, we determine whether a given activity qualifies as supply under section 7 or not. Now once an activity qualifies as supply, this comes as a positive sign that yes, it is a supply, the activity is a supply. Then we have to see whether supply is leviable to GST or not. That you saw in the charge of GST chapter. You studied it at length. So once a supply is leviable to GST under GST law, third point comes, or third step is that what is the place of supply of said transaction, because that determines the nature of transaction and based on which we will go to the exemptions. So when we see the place of supply, we see that yes, this is the nature of supply. It is an interstate or intrastate, whatever is the nature of transaction. After that we refer the respective list of exempted supplies. So based on that we have to see that if supply is an exempted supply, then we'll not move further. But if it is a non-exempted supply, then we'll further move. So we have to first of all ensure that it is not an exempt supply. Then next step will be determining time of supply. That means when a supply is taxable, supply is not exempt, then we have to see at what point of time we have to levy tax, or not levy, at what point of time liability to pay GST will arise. So that point of time will be determined by time of supply. And after determining the time of supply, that yes, this is the time at which the supply will be GST will be paid on the supply, then we have to determine how much GST has to be paid. So every step is it makes a sense or makes a logic that yes, first determine whether it is a supply, then see whether it is leviable to supply or not. After that, see the nature of supply by seeing the place of supply provisions. Thereafter, go to exemptions chapter and see whether it is exempt or not. If it is exempt, we will not move further, but if it is not exempt, we'll Then see the time of supply, at what point of time liability to pay GST arises, and last is on what value the GST is payable. So that comes under the present chapter which we are going to discuss, value of supply. You have got a clear idea of this chapter in the previous class. Today we will be having first of all an overview of the provisions done in the last class, and then we will see some examples, MCQs as well as the questions, and I will, if time permits, I will also tell you that how you have to present these answers in the examination, because you know the provision, but how you have to present it in the exam, that is also very, very important. Okay. So value of supply under section 15 we have to see. As I already told you that the rules are not in your syllabus, or they are not applicable for the intermediate students. Only section 15 based questions will be there in your exam. So let us see the questions. Let us see the provision first of all. Then I will ask you a few questions. So value of supply as per section 15 is the transaction value. Now what is transaction value? Transaction value is price actually paid or payable. Now there are two more conditions which are attached to this. Quickly in the chat box, I want all of you to tell me, you have done in the last class quite thoroughly as per section 15. Value of supply is transaction value. Transaction value is price actually paid or payable. Now tell me two more conditions which are attached to it. Yes, Harshal, right, absolutely right. And just a minute, Harshal is right. Nikunj, one condition you have mentioned correctly. Tanu, you wanted to write related, I think, Tanu. You have mentioned it as really. Nikunj is correct. Dhanlakshmi, that the condition you have mentioned is for supply. Now I am asking you to accept a particular price as transaction value. I said it should be the price actually paid or payable. But then two more conditions are attached. Two more situations, circumstances should also be there. Tanu is correct. Tanu, you wanted to write related. That is fine. Surinder, think about it again. Now you are right, Tanu. Yes, Sridhar, this is one of the conditions, but this is one of the inclusions or exclusions which you are mentioning. But what are the two conditions we are talking about? Purv is right, absolutely right, Purv. So now Sushmita is also right in this, that yes, you all are correct. In fact, this shows that you had attended the last class with full rigor and you have understood the concept also. See, supply should be made to a unrelated person. So it should not be a related person. First condition. And second is price is the sole consideration. That means there should not be a case where we are giving some money also and we are giving some gift also to our supplier. Buyer is giving money plus buyer is giving some other consideration also. It is the price is split. The price which we are taking should be the sole consideration. That should be the only amount which has flown from buyer to supplier. If anything else also he is giving in any other form, suppose he is doing some services to him, he is giving some services to him for this particular supply, or he is giving some goods to him, then that will not be the sole consideration. In that case, price will not be the sole consideration and that cannot be accepted as transaction value. That will not be a value of supply. So these two conditions are the foremost conditions: supply to an unrelated person and sole consideration, price being sole consideration. Okay. Yes. So these two conditions we have already seen and all of you know. So what if person is related or price is not the sole consideration? Then what will happen? My slide already tells you, but I just want to go to the previous slide and ask you people, if price is not the sole consideration, that means something else is being flowing from buyer to seller, or buyer is providing some services, buyer is giving some goods also apart from monetary consideration, or if buyer and seller are related, then how the transaction will not take transaction value, then what will happen? Quickly tell me in the chat box. Mithili, your answer is also correct. Yes, Nikunj, you are right. Then there will be two transactions, but how the value will be determined, that we have to tell. It should take Sushmita, you're right that transaction should take at arm's length. Then section 15 will not apply. And I'm saying section 15 says value of supply is transaction value. This is what section 15 says. That value of supply is the transaction value. And transaction value, when we are saying, section 15 further provides that it should be made to an unrelated person and where price is the sole consideration. So if supply is being made to a related person or supply is not the sole consideration, then in that case, value will be determined as per the valuation rules. Central Goods and Services Tax Act 2017 of section 15 of this act provides that in that case you have to go to the CGST rules, and there you have to see chapter 4 which contains the valuation rules. So in this case we have to refer to valuation rules, but these valuation rules are not part of the intermediate syllabus, so we will not go into that. But you should know this much concept. If a direct question comes to you that if price is not the sole consideration or if supply is made to an unrelated person, then how will you determine the value of supply? Then we will move to the rules. We will refer the rules. Moreover, certain supplies are notified under section 15 subsection 5. Now they are also those supplies, value has to be determined as per valuation rules. So these three will not form part of your syllabus, or these three you do not have to do at the intermediate level. We are only concerned with this, where price is sole consideration, supplier and buyer are unrelated. They are unrelated persons. So where value supplies, where value cannot be determined, that is where they are related persons, non-sole considerations or notified supplies are there. In that case, value will be determined as per the prescribed rules. These are valuation rules 2000, the CGST rules 2017 valuation chapter will be applicable. But you are not concerned with that. You do not have to see that. Now then comes section 15. Now we'll see section 15. Just have a look at the statutory provisions so that you don't feel left out that we are not doing the statutory provisions. This is subsection 1. Section 15 subsection 1 provides that value shall be the transaction value. Price actually paid or payable, and the buyer and seller are not related. Price is the sole consideration. Then comes subsection 2. Subsection 2 contains the inclusions in the transaction value. There we have 5 inclusions or 5 clauses. Now these we'll do, I have made a mnemonics for this to remember that. There are 5 things. First is, in fact the first point here was taxes. Taxes other than GST. Second is the amount paid by the buyer. Any amount which buyer has paid on behalf of the seller, which liability was as per the contract between buyer and seller, it was the liability of seller to pay that amount, but the buyer is paying that amount will also be included in the value, because that is actually part of the consideration only. For example, there is a contract between buyer and seller that the buyer will supply the supplier will supply the banquet services or the event management services to the service receiver. Then in that case, if the some kind of the rent of the banquet hall, because in banquet event management services, banquet services will be there, then you will be having some photography services, there will be lot many services, food will be there, catering services. It will be a
Please zoom the PPT, ma'am. Words are very small.
it's not visible to you.
Visible, ma'am, but words are very small. Can you please zoom it, ma'am?
Is it so in this PPT, this slide only, or was it earlier also?
Earlier also, ma'am.
Okay. Can others,
Please.
are you Mathili?
Yes, ma'am. Maithili, ma'am.
Mathili. If others can also confirm that they are also facing the same problem so that I can adjust it accordingly. Because, okay, Sushmita is also saying it's not visible to you, Harshal, Sushmita. So, tell me if now it is visible to you.
Yes, ma'am. Now is zoom.
Okay. Okay, because I need to adjust it again. Let me see. Okay, now it's visible. Just a minute. I have to adjust it again. Actually, I was trying to adjust my screen so that it's visible to you all. But I hope now it is visible so we can continue with this. So Hera has mentioned I'm muted. So Hera, actually, I wanted to adjust the screen size. I was trying to adjust the screen size. But anyhow, I hope with this you are able to see what I am showing on the screen.
Yes, ma'am. Now
Okay,
visible, ma'am.
fine. So we are continuing with this. Now, so what I was trying to tell you was that there are 5 clauses which says that, so buyer and seller, we were discussing that when can be there be a case where any amount which seller was liable to pay or supplier was liable to pay, but the service recipient or the buyer has actually paid that amount on behalf of the supplier. That will also be added. So I told you that, and even in case of event management services, suppose the rent of the banquet hall has been paid directly by the service recipient, then that will also be added to the value of supply because it is part of the service. It is part of the consideration charged for the service. That is why we are including it in the value of supply. So this is one of the things that I told you, that one was taxes, second was the amount by the buyer, third is incidental expenses. Now packing charges, weighment charges, commission, installation charges, handling, weighment charges, these are the incidental expenses or which are incurred by the supplier for providing a particular service or for supplying goods. Those incidental expenses will also be added in the value because they form part of the value. Then we have the penalty. Penalty is that any interest has been, when I say penalty, penalty does not mean any penalty for any wrongdoing or not complying with the contract. Penalty is when we are charging any interest from the buyer or recipient for not making payment on time. So interest on delayed payment, basically it is interest on delayed payment. It can be called penalty, it can be called fine, anything you can call it, but this is for making payment not on time. The buyer has not made payment on time, recipient has not made payment on time. For that, whatever amount is being charged, that is interest on delayed payment or penalty or fine, that is also includable in value. And fifth one is the subsidy. Now quickly tell me that when subsidy will be included in the value, because when I say simple subsidy, that does not get it included in the value. What are the conditions which need to be which should be there? Quickly tell me, subsidy, when a subsidy is includable in the value of supply. Harshal, we can say its principal amount which should be part of value of supply. You can say, Harshal, that way, that whatever amount you are paying on for particular supply, everything will be included. If you see this very logically everything has been placed here, and if you see that, you will find that these things should be included. Okay, so Harshal, private, very good. Your answer is correct for subsidy. Purav, yes, not from government. Then one more thing is there. Amit also has mentioned the other part of it. Purav has mentioned one part. Now both has to be there. Then Surinder, one part you have mentioned, another part also. There are 2 points or 2 conditions you can say that should be satisfied for any subsidy to be included in the value. Dhanlakshmi, you have also mentioned one of the aspect. Yes, Mithili, one part you have mentioned, if all of you are giving one or the other of the two conditions, but we have to, both the conditions should be satisfied. Jayashree is also correct, and that way Nikunj is also correct. Neetu, you are saying the other way around. I'm saying when the subsidy should be included. Tanu has provided the exact correct answer. Both the conditions Tanu has provided. Gabbar, you have also given 1 point. My God, Gabbar Thakur, your name is very, very different. Subsidies provided by government is not included. Yes, Veerashri, you're right. But when it is includable, you have to tell Veerashri that. That I am telling you. Subsidy will be includable in the value when it is received from non-governmental organization. Okay, it should not be received from government, from central government or state government. It should be received from other than government. Why is it so? Because actually, when you are receiving subsidy from state government or central government, that is supposed to be a genuine subsidy which is provided to you. If it is not received from central government or state government, it can be a measure of actually breaking your price or value, or you can say reducing your price in a way, because your holding company is providing you some subsidy, and this way what is happening, your holding company has provided subsidy to the supplier for the any goods which are received by its subsidiary. So that way the price has been broken. Or if subsidiary is providing any goods to holding company, there also, but because holding and subsidiary company are not related persons, but that is not there in part of your syllabus, you don't have to go into that. But suppose a non-governmental organization can be any private company, I can take some subsidy and I can break my price. So that I don't want. What we actually want is that the price should be genuinely reduced by the subsidy received from the government. That is why only government subsidy is reduced from the price. If any non-governmental organization, now that can be a way to actually divide my consideration. Some consideration I'm receiving from buyer, some consideration buyer has paid to some private entity, and that private entity is paying me in the form of the subsidy. That should not happen. So non-governmental subsidy is added in the value, plus it should be price linked subsidy. Subsidy should be linked to your price. Now when I say price linked subsidy, what does it mean? If my price is 100 rupees, my subsidy is 10. When my price increases to 110, my subsidy becomes 11 rupees. My price reduces to 90 rupees, my subsidy becomes 9 rupees. That is price linked subsidy. So as your price changes, your subsidy amount will also change. That is the price linked subsidy. This why price linked subsidy would have been there. The reason could be because this way you can allocate the subsidy to every product and you can add it back to the value while determining the value. Yes. Subsidy provided to the government is not included. Any questions anybody has here? You have mentioned other things also. Harshal, excluded government if provide even if directly related. Yes, in case of the, now if it is a government subsidy, if it is a subsidy received from the government, then it will be excluded in every case. It will not form part of your price. Whether it is related to your price or not, that is not a condition. In case of the government subsidy, it has to be excluded from the value. Subsidy is not a supply, is received from central. If it is received from central government or state government, it will be excluded from the price. Ranjan, you are right. If it is government subsidy, excluded. If it is non-governmental subsidy plus price linked, both these conditions have to be there. So please remember these two conditions, not only non-governmental subsidy, plus it should be price linked subsidy also. Purav is asking, does that mean subsidy linked to price should be changing in nature with price, or it can be, yes, it should be changing with price. So it should be, when would I say it is linked to my price? Because when my price changes, my subsidy changes. Then otherwise, if I say it is fixed, then this is allocated to a product, but it will be same even if my price goes up or my price goes down. So that means it is not always so that it should be proportionate as was there in my example, but it should be linked to your price. So as your price changes, your subsidy should also change, but that will not be asked in your questions. You just have to know the price linked subsidy is one of the conditions. Non-governmental plus price linked. Then Lakshmi, I had given you price linked subsidies example, one of the examples can be the LPG cylinder, that as your price changes, your subsidy amount also changes. So if your price increases, subsidy amount is different. Price reduces, subsidy amount also changes accordingly. That is price linked subsidy. But since it is received from central government, because of that reason only it is not included in the price. But yes, this can be an example of price linked subsidy, but it will not be included because it is received from government. If had it been received from a non-governmental organization, it would have been included. So I hope with this subsidy point is clear to you. Now, so I have made
Hello,
this
ma'am.
mnemonics.
I have a question, ma'am.
Who's there? Please tell me your name.
I'm Harshal, ma'am.
Yes, Harshal.
Harshal. मैम आई हैव क्वेश्चन कि इवन अगर प्राइवेट कंपनी हो एंड अ सब्सिडी मिले प्राइवेट कंपनी से टू द बिजनेस, सो इन दैट केस इवन इट इज नॉट अ लिंक्ड विद द प्राइस, then it will be not a part of
If
was,
it is
right,
not
ma'am?
linked to the price, I will give you an example. Suppose it is not linked to price now, because I have given examples of being linked to the price. Now I will tell you when can a subsidy be not linked with the price. Let us see that example also. Suppose I am a solar power making company, or not solar power. I'm a industry, and I can do some energy conservation also. Government has ensured me that if I do the energy conservation of 100 units per month, I will get a subsidy of 1 lakh rupees. Okay, in that case I'm getting a subsidy, but that is not a price linked subsidy. That is not linked to any of my products. I am saving energy and I am getting a subsidy from the government. That is not a price linked subsidy, even if it is, though it is received from government. But suppose it is received from a non-governmental organization and they are saying if you conserve the energy, some environmental NGO is there and they believe that we want to conserve the environment, and they give subsidy to the businesses for saving the energy, for conserving the energy. So they said that if you conserve this much amount of energy in a month, you will be getting a subsidy of a lump sum amount of 1 lakh rupees, 50,000 rupees from our organization in the month. Then in that case, that will not be a price linked subsidy. Though it is received from a non-governmental organization, it will not be included in the price of my product or value of my product. I hope that is clear.
Then it will be not a part of the value of supply when we
Then it will
calculate it.
not be part of value of supply. So in order to be included in value of supply, both the conditions have to be satisfied. First condition, it should be received from a non-governmental organization. Second condition, it should be a price linked subsidy. I hope this is clear to you all.
Yes, ma'am, clear.
Okay, Sushmita is saying, could you please explain amount by buyer once again? Okay. So Sushmita, you wanted to ask me that this particular clause. Okay, if I go to the chapter, I just want to show you these clauses also. First clause was taxes and duties. This also we'll discuss. We'll once again have a discussion over this also. Any amount that the supplier is liable to pay in relation to such supply, but which has been incurred by the recipient and not included in the price actually paid or payable. Now let us come to this condition. Then we'll see point clause A again in detail. Let me show it to you. Now this is the, let me first show everyone the mnemonics which I had made for remembering these 5 inclusions, because when you are determining the value of supply, you should be thorough with the inclusions or the expenses which need to be included or the amounts which need to be included in the value of supply. So this actually comprises of a word SPAT, that is subsidy, penalty, amount by the buyer, incidental expenses, and taxes other than GST. अभी ठीक है? Taxes by GST other than GST. So if these 5 things are there, they have to be included in the value. This is a mnemonics which we have written. I will be giving you the notes also. You can refer that, and just to memorize this, it has been given. So these are the 5 things: subsidy, penalty, amount by buyer, incidental expenses, and taxes other than GST. First one we'll see afterwards. Payment to third parties on behalf of the buyer. So under the contract, now let me give you another example. Suppose the buyer and seller had an agreement to supply goods. Supplier has to supply goods to the buyer, but those goods he has agreed to supply at the buyer's premises. He's saying that supplier will supply the goods at the buyer's factory. And for supplying the goods to the buyer's factory, he has to arrange the transport. Now, he does not have any transport of his own. He has taken the transport services from XYZ Limited, some goods transport operator is there. So he has taken the services from this company. Now, transportation charges of suppose 1000 rupees are payable. Now what supplier said to buyer is that, okay, I have arranged the transport for you because my contract, first thing is very important, that is it should be mentioned in the contract. There should be a contractual obligation for that expense or that payment to be made by the supplier. When supplier is saying I will supply the goods at your premises, that means whatever expenses are to be incurred for supplying goods at the buyer's factory have to be incurred by the supplier. Transportation is one of them, that whatever amount will be incurred for transporting goods from the seller's premises to buyer's premises will be incurred by the supplier. But due to some problem, maybe he was in crunch of cash, or he had the transporter was near to buyer's factory, so he asked the buyer to make the payment to XYZ Limited for rupees 1000. He said 1000 की payment आप transporter को कर देना, I will that you do on your own. बस इतना उसने उसको बोला. Now this 1000 rupees which buyer has incurred on behalf of the supplier, this will be forming part of the supply of, suppose value of goods was 1 lakh rupees. So 1 lakh rupees, it is excluding transportation charges. So this 1000 rupees will be added, though it has been paid by the buyer. So any amount which buyer is paying on behalf of seller, which was the contractual obligation of the seller. यहाँ पर जो supplier या seller जो भी है उसकी contractual obligation थी 1000 rupees की payment की, but buyer has paid it. So this will be added in the price of the or value of the goods. I hope this is clear to you all. Sushmita?
Yes, this is Sushmita.
Yes, Sushmita.
So we mean to say that when we are computing GST, we will include this 1000 and then we will charge GST on it. But the supplier will be refunding the, will deduct the 1000 which is paid by the buyer and then he will collect the remaining amount. Is that?
Supplier will be, because that means when I say that 1 lakh rupees is the value of the goods, okay, and 1000 rupees is the transportation. So my contract is that I will supply the goods at the buyer's premises. So as per my contract, what I would be charging from the buyer, what I should have charged from the buyer was 1 lakh plus 1000 rupees. Now what I did was I didn't take 1000 rupees from the buyer. I said you directly pay it to my transporter. So if I go by the definition of transaction value per se, if I read it literally, then what would I say? 1 lakh rupees I have actually received. This is the price actually received from my buyer. So this will be my value of supply. But that is not the case. This 1000 rupees which my supplier was liable to pay, and though buyer has paid it, that will also be included in the value. Now value will be 1 lakh 1000. And on this value, we'll charge the price, suppose it is 5%. So this 5% rate will be charged on 1 lakh 1000 and GST amount will be computed.
Okay. Understood.
Okay. So now we are, so clause B has been covered by us. Now clause B, I hope nobody has any doubt. Now we come to clause, so this has been covered. Now we come to clause A, where we said any taxes other than goods and services. Let us read this clause also. Any taxes, duties, cesses, fees, charges levied under any law other than this act means CGST Act, SGST, UTGST and GST Compensation Cess Act, plus here we also, if we read it along with section 20, it is IGST also. So whatever taxes are levied under GST law, that those taxes will not be included. All other taxes will be included in the value. In short, what we can say is the taxes which have not been subsumed. I hope the screen is visible still. If anybody has any problem, I can increase the size further. So Purab, I will see your query. Just let me finish this portion. I will look into your query also. So any tax which is other than GST and GST compensation cess. GST law में जो भी taxes लगते हैं उनको छोड़ के whatever taxes are being levied on your goods or on your services, they will be included in the value of supply. What can be the example? Excise duty, custom duty, municipal taxes, stamp duty, whatever duties or taxes which have stamp duty per se will not be there because we generally don't levy it on the sale of goods, sale of building, and that land is not there. But any taxes which are not subsumed in GST, they will be includable in the value. Only CGST, SGST, IGST and UTGST plus GST compensation cess, if they are given in your answer, that you will not include in the value, because value of supply does not include GST or does not include taxes under GST law. It includes all other taxes. Now, one condition which should be satisfied here is that they will be included in the value. First thing is they should be taxes other than GST. Now that is very clear to all of you. Second condition is they should be charged separately in the invoice. If we have separately charged them, shown them in the invoice, they should be charged from the buyer and shown separately in the invoice. Buyer से आप charge भी करोगे उनको और separately invoice में show भी करोगे, तब वो value में already included नहीं है, तब आप उनको अलग से add कर दोगे. You will add them in the value when they are charged separately from the buyer and they are shown separately in your invoice. Then these taxes will be included, and GST and IGST, all GST will not be included. Taxes under GST law will not be included. Okay. So you read this. Let me see one query which is there. I had a confusion in this part that once an invoice is issued for 1 lakh, how can further amount be added to the invoice? Actually, invoice, when I say, that means that was not a tax invoice, or if it, even if it is there, when we are computing the value, then we have to either issue the debit note or we have to amend the invoice. That has to be there. When I say it is not shown, those charges are shown in your invoice. That means you have separately shown that in the invoice, that amount which you have directly paid. Either it is shown in the invoice, it can be a possibility that the amount directly paid by buyer on behalf of the seller. If it is separately shown in the invoice, and even if it is not shown, you will take it in the value, you will compute the tax accordingly, and that has to be shown in your tax invoice. जो आप tax invoice issue करोगे पूरब, उसमें जरूर show करोगे. When we talk about the taxes, we have said GST को छोड़ के बाकी सारे taxes हम include करेंगे. Now here there is an exception. This exception is TCS under Income Tax Act. Tax collected at source under the Income Tax Act. Please remember this. ये जो TCS की हम बात कर रहे हैं, ये Income Tax Act की बात कर रहे हैं हम अभी. Okay? जैसे metal scrap है, उसके ऊपर TCS charge होता है, but Income Tax Act में जो TCS charge होता है, that will not be includable in the value of supply. Because actually ये जो TCS के नाम से जो हमने collect किया है amount, that is not a tax per se. It is an interim levy. ये हमने अभी collect कर लिया है, पूरा amount हम बाद में collect करेंगे, but this is not a tax per se. That is why it is not includable in the value. Circular is there. A specific circular has been issued which provides that TCS under Income Tax Act, if it is given in your question, then you do not have to include it in the value of supply, but all other taxes, municipal taxes are there, excise, customs, that will be included. It's part of tax which collected in advance. Whatever taxes you have already collected, you will include it in the price. You will include it in the value of supply. Okay, so clause 2, A and B are over. Now we come to the next clause, that is incidental expenses. See, incidental expenses are also includable in value, including commission, packing, charged by the supplier to recipient, and now this is also very important, that any amount charged for anything done by the buyer in respect of the supply of goods or both at the time or before delivery of services. Any incidental expenses you have charged from your recipient, from your buyer, that will be included in the value. It can be packing, it can be commissioning, it can be the payment charges you have, or loading charges. You have supplied the goods. Now at the time of supply, you have to load them to the vehicle. For that, some charges have also been taken. Those are the incidental expenses. Incidental expenses का मतलब क्या हुआ? जो supply करने के लिए आपको साथ में सर्विसेज या कुछ एक्सपेंसेस करने पड़े. अब आपको गुड सप्लाई करनी है, आपको पैकिंग करनी पड़ी है, उसके लिए वो स्पेशल पैकेजिंग भी हो सकती है जिसका काफी एक्स्ट्रा कॉस्ट है, या नॉर्मल पैकेजिंग भी हो सकती है. एनी काइंड ऑफ पैकेजिंग, किसी भी तरह की पैकेजिंग है स्पेसिफिक टू दैट प्रोडक्ट, और जिसकी बहुत एक्स्ट्रा कॉस्ट बायर ने बियर की, या एट द इंस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ बायर दैट पैकेजिंग हैज बीन डन, एनी काइंड ऑफ पैकेजिंग, बट वो पैकेजिंग आप इंक्लूड करोगे. Then yes Harshal, I will try to take the test your knowledge questions also, and I will take the examples also, but at the end of the session, during the session itself, let me complete this section 15 and I will take the examples. So I am almost at the verge of finishing this section 15 only. Then I will, no, discount is also there. After completing discount, I will take the examples and I will try taking test your knowledge questions also. That is my objective, because I want to show how you have to आंसर अ क्वेश्चन इन दी एग्जाम. आप एग्जाम में कैसे आंसर करोगे इस क्वेश्चन को, क्योंकि अभी क्या होता है, पता सब कुछ है हमें, लेकिन जब एग्जाम में हम लिखने बैठते हैं तो हम सिर्फ ऐड और सब्ट्रैक्ट करके दिखा के आ जाते हैं और उसमें हमारे मार्क्स बहुत लूज हो जाते हैं. तो काफी बच्चों का ऐसे क्वेरीज भी आती है कि आई वॉज एक्सपेक्टिंग 60 मार्क्स, मतलब एग्जामिशन एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे थे बट 40 भी नहीं आए. वो, और then they know the provisions also, but what happened is that in examination they were not able to produce their answers in a proper manner. और उसका मतलब बिल्कुल ये नहीं है कि आपको स्टडी की लैंग्वेज लिखनी थी इसलिए मार्क्स नहीं मिले, नहीं, इट डज नॉट मीन दैट एट ऑल. आप अपनी वर्ड्स में अपने लैंग्वेज में लिखोगे, बट सही पॉइंट लिखना बहुत जरूरी है. वो सही पॉइंट क्या है, दैट आई विल ट्राई टू कवर. ओके, तो पॉइंट ए और बी कवर हो गए. सी में है इंसिडेंटल एक्सपेंसेस, यानी एनी एक्सपेंसेस विच आर नेसेसरी फॉर मेकिंग सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स और सप्लाई ऑफ सर्विसेज, दे आर इंसिडेंटल एक्सपेंसेस. अगर वो आप इंकर कर रहे हो तो दैट विल बी एडेड इन दी वैल्यू. प्लस एनीथिंग विच सप्लायर हैज डन फॉर द बायर बिफोर और एट द टाइम ऑफ मेकिंग सप्लाई. नाउ आई विल गिव यू एन एग्जाम्पल. यू हैव परचेज एन एयर कंडीशनर. While purchasing the air conditioner, you generally ask the supplier to install it at your home. Now, at the time when the air conditioner is delivered, that will be installed at your premises. So those installation charges are the that comes in this particular clause, that anything done by the supplier in respect of the goods at the time of supply. आप चाहते हो आपके जो गुड्स आए हैं उनको एक बार इंस्पेक्ट करके भेजना, देख के भेजना कि भाई वो चलते हैं, सब कुछ इसमें जो भी है, कोई डिफेक्ट तो नहीं है, देयर इज नो प्रॉब्लम इन दोज गुड्स. प्री इंस्पेक्शन चार्जेस. सो इफ यू वांट द गुड्स टू बी प्री इंस्पेक्टेड, then pre-inspection charges are being levied by the supplier. So at the before delivery of the goods, you want your goods to be inspected. That is the for that pre-inspection charges are being levied by the supplier. Even if that is not included in the value, you have to include it in value for computing the GST. तो GST में compute करते वक्त आप उसमें pre-inspection charges include करोगे. आपको कोई testing करनी है. If you have bought some medical products and you want some testing to be done, आप चाहते हो it should be tested on some particular species of animals, या it is for maybe it is medication purpose, so you want some kind of testing to be done in lab, that it gives this kind of results when it is taken in this much quantity and this much this type of conditions. So that will be anything which we have done before delivery of the goods. This has been done by the supplier for making delivery of the goods. That will also be included in the value of supply, and that will fall in clause C. So any commission you are paying to the agent, you have paid any commission, or the packing charges, inspection. I told you that some inspection you wanted and you want a certificate to be that it is safe, the product is safe, it is free from all hazards. When the buyer is taking it, it wants an inspection and want a certificate, safety certificate from the seller. So that will also be included in value. Installation and testing, some kind of installation has to be done for the product, so that will also be included in the value. Weighment and loading, you want your goods to be weighed. आपने धर्म कांटा का नाम सुना होगा कि बहुत बड़े बड़े जो गुड्स होते हैं या बहुत heavy quantity of goods which are being taken in trucks that are weighed. So there for that charges are levied, because generally हम सोचते हैं वेट करने में क्या है, थोड़ा सा वेट करने के कौन पैसे लेता है, but when your goods are in huge quantities, they are being supplied in huge quantities, then their weighment also carries some charges. Those charges also are includable in value. Goods को load करने के लिए, goods have to be loaded into the vehicle, and for that loading charges are there, unloading charges are there, they will also be included. Some designing charges, so you want our product to be in a particular design, for that some designing has to be done before delivery of the goods, that will also be included in value of supply. So loading and weighing, that will be, everything will be included in the value of supply. Okay, clause 3 C is over. Now we come to clause D, that is interest or late fee for delayed payment of any consideration for supply. It's very clear that when we say the late fee, penalty or interest, this interest, late fee or penalty, whatever name we give it, it is for the delayed payment of consideration. That means आपको जो buyer को जो consideration देनी थी, if that consideration has been given not on time, he has not given that payment on time, and it has been agreed by the between the contract in the contract between buyer and seller, that interest will be charged or penalty will be charged, that will be included in the value. Okay, read this clause and I will just give me 1 minute. Yes, Harshal, you can write your query. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, Harshal, you have a query. You have written something in the chat box also. Let me see. Yes, expected marks are not incurred because exception not okay. I hope now you are clear with that. Yes, whatever query you have, you can ask.
Ma'am,
Yes, tell me.
Harshal is here. I have a question, ma'am. Study mat is given in that incidental expenses as an example given in the study mat. Weighted charges, loading charges, etc. incurred at or before the time of supply will be added to the value. But if billed to the recipient only, then it will be added. No?
If these charges have been charged from the recipient, that's what you want to say?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
If
if they
billed to
are
the
actually
recipient.
charged from the recipient, then only they will be included in the value.
If I'm paid, I'm a businessman. I'm paid on my pocket, so it is not will be part of
Buyer has
value of
actually
supply.
paid. Buyer has actually paid. You want to say you are a buyer and you have paid these payment charges on your own. Is it so?
No, no. Supply. If in case supplier is paid on behalf of buyer, so it what is the scenario in that
If
case?
supplier has paid on behalf of the buyer, there are two situations. One thing, he has already included in the value, then it will not be again added. But if it is not included in the value and he has incurred these charges for making the supply, then that will be included in the value. One thing is, if any prudent businessman will not include any charges for making a supply from his own pocket, and he doesn't include it in the supply. Moreover, if he is incurring these type of charges and he is not including it in the value, saying that I am doing charity, I will not include it in the value, then that is not allowed under GST law. He has to include it in the value. I think you wanted to ask this only.
Yes, ma'am.
That
Yes,
I
clear.
incur it for everyone, I don't take it from anyone.
Yes, ma'am. Clear.
But these are incidental expenses, they have to be added. Okay.
Clear, ma'am.
Okay, next is interest, late fee or penalty. So if you are not making payment, you are a buyer, you are not making payment on time, whatever was the stipulated time. Now suppose my seller has given me goods and he has given me 15 days time for making the payment. Generally some credit period is always allowed when we make the sales. So 15 days credit period is there and I have not made the payment within 15 days, and after that the interest at the rate of suppose 1% per month is chargeable. So whatever interest is being charged from the buyer or being received from the buyer to the seller, that will be includable in the value of supply. Now here when we will see the questions, we will see how that value has to be actually added, because generally what happens as a trade practice, you will see that when I am charging interest for delayed payment, बायर जनरली टेंड टू नॉट गिव मी दी जीएसटी अमाउंट. मैंने किसी से अगर पेनल्टी लगाई है तो वो मुझे उसके ऊपर जीएसटी भी पे करेगा, थोड़ा मुश्किल है. बट हाँ, इफ माई टर्म्स ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट से सो that he has to give me GST additionally, then that can also be there. So it can be both ways, but that will be given to you, either that will be given to you in the question or you have to take an assumption and you have to answer. But we will see that when once we come to the questions. I'm just giving you an idea. कोई भी तरह का इंटरेस्ट जो आपने पेमेंट टाइम पर नहीं की है उसके लिए चार्ज हो रहा है, कोई लेट फी चार्ज हो रही है, पेनल्टी चार्ज कर रहा है आपका सप्लायर, दैट विल बी एडेड टू द वैल्यू ऑफ सप्लाई. नेक्स्ट लास्ट इज दी सब्सिडी. सब्सिडीज हम पहले भी अच्छे से कर चुके हैं अभी कि सब्सिडीज, लेट्स गो टू दिस पॉइंट. सब्सिडी डायरेक्टली लिंक्ड टू द प्राइस. सी, डायरेक्टली लिंक्ड टू द प्राइस एक्सक्लूडिंग सब्सिडीज प्रोवाइडेड बाय द सेंट्रल और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट. अगर स्टेट गवर्नमेंट सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट की सब्सिडी है वो हमेशा एक्सक्लूड होंगी. वी विल नॉट सी कि डायरेक्टली लिंक्ड है नहीं है, हमेशा एक्सक्लूडेड ही होंगी आपके प्राइस में से. बट अगर आपकी सब्सिडी गवर्नमेंट से रिसीव नहीं हुई है, नॉन गवर्नमेंटल सब्सिडी है, तो वो डायरेक्टली लिंक टू प्राइस होनी चाहिए. यानी अगर आपको ब्लैंकेट सब्सिडी मिल गई है, आपको कोई लमसम सब्सिडी मिली है, 5 लाख रुपीज की लमसम सब्सिडी है क्योंकि आपने बहुत अच्छा काम किया किसी पर्टिकुलर सेक्टर में, आपने कुछ ब्रांड प्रमोशन मतलब सॉरी एक्सपोर्ट्स की कुछ एक्टिविटीज की है जिसकी वजह से पर्टिकुलर काउंसिल, सम एक्सपोर्ट काउंसिल हैज गिवन यू अ export council has given you a subsidy of 5 lakh rupees suppose. Now that is a blanket subsidy not related to any price of your product. आप पहली बात तो उसे किसी प्रोडक्ट पे भी एलोकेट नहीं कर सकते बिकॉज आपको एक लमसम मंथ में सब्सिडी मिल गई है या वन टाइम सब्सिडी आपको मिल गई है कोई, दैट कैन नॉट बी एलोकेटेड टू एनी प्रोडक्ट, दैट इज नॉट लिंक्ड टू प्राइस ऑल्सो, so that will not be included in the value. We'll see some examples also, from that it will get clear that when it will be included and when it will not be included. Now then comes the subsection 3 that pertains to discount. So this I hope subsidy point is clear to you all. Now we come to the discount. Discount will be, there will be two types of discounts. I hope discount point you had done in the last class also. So can you tell me without seeing this slide and without seeing the chapter, if I knew about a particular discount at the time of supply, then whether it will be excluded from the value of supply or it will be includable in the value of supply. Let me give you an example. I have purchased an air conditioner or I have purchased a television set from a electronics shop. The price was 1 lakh rupees. The seller has given it to me for rupees 90,000. I negotiated the price and he sold it to me for 90,000. So will the price be 90,000 or price will be 1 lakh rupees? Nikunj is correct. Karan, you are right. Dhanlakshmi, correct. Jayashri, Ankita, Sushmita, correct. Yes, Harshal, you have mentioned the condition correctly. Just agreed. Okay, so I hope this point is clear to you. This is simple. And it makes sense also that I have purchased that television set for 90,000. I have paid 90,000 when I was receiving the goods. So that is the price which has been charged or which I have actually paid. So that discount amount of 10,000 is allowable under the GST law. That is what subsection 3 clause A says. Value shall not include, that means value shall exclude any discount which is given before or at the time of supply if such discount has been duly recorded in the invoice issued in respect of such supply. यानी आपकी इनवॉइस में लिखा गया कि 1 लाख की टेलीविजन सेट था, 10,000 डिस्काउंट है, नाउ वी आर सेलिंग इट फॉर 90,000. दैट विल बी अलाउड. आपको 90,000 पे टैक्स पे करना है. सेकेंड कंडीशन, सेकेंड केस इज की विच इज discount which is given after the supply. Now there can be three cases, either before, either at the time of making supply or after making the supply. So these two, before or at the time of supply, they are allowed as deduction, that we have already seen, and we do not have any doubt in that also. That is very simple. कि अगर आपने suppose you went to a grocery shop and he said कि if you purchase one bag of rice, then that price charged is this much per kg, price is 70 kg, and if you buy 1 kg of rice, then price will be 75. So this 5 rupees has already been agreed at the time of making the supply, and that will be allowed as deduction from your value of supply, or it will not be included in the value of supply. This is simple and everybody agrees to it. Now take another condition. I am a dealer of goods and I have purchased cars from my manufacturer. Now my manufacturer has given me we have an agreement at the time of sale. He told me that today the cost of car is 5 lakh rupees, but if you make a sale of 100 cars in this particular quarter, then I will give you a discount of 10% on all the cars which you have sold in this particular quarter. Okay, once again I am repeating. I am a dealer of car. A manufacturer has given a deal or an offer to his car distributors that the price of the car is 5 lakh rupees per car, but that will be a discount of 10% will be given to those distributors who will sell 100 or 1000 cars, you can take 1000 cars in this quarter. Suppose we are in April. On 1st of April, he announced that whatever cars we are selling in the you will be selling in this quarter, if it exceeds 1000 units, then the price of the car, I am charging a price of 5 lakh today, but after the end of the quarter, if you show me that your sales were more than 1000, you have purchased more than 1000 cars from me, then I will be reducing the price by 10%. Now tell me what will be the treatment. Will it be, just tell me, just tell me, will it be allowed as deduction or will it not be allowed as deduction? Quickly tell me in the chat box, will it be allowed as deduction or not? I want to quickly complete section 15 so that we can do some examples. Okay, so Harshal is saying allowed, Dhanshri again saying allowed, Sridhar, and Harshal is saying as per agreement, allowed as per agreement. Yes, agreement says that I will be giving you this much discount. Jayashri saying not allowed, Nikunj is saying allowed as reduction, Sushmita is saying allowed. Jayashri, give the reasons when it will not be allowed. Substantiate it with reasons also. Sushmita is saying allowed, Kashish is also saying it is allowed, and Veerashri is also saying it is allowed. It will be allowed as deduction provided two more conditions are satisfied. Because there are three conditions when a post supply discount is allowed as deduction. This is a post supply discount. Supply होने के बाद ये discount हमें मिलेगा. अभी तो नहीं मिला है. Supply 5 लाख पे हो चुकी है. अब supply के बाद एक हमारे manufacturer ने promise किया है, supplier ने promise किया है कि I will give you a discount of 10% each unit, but provided you achieve this much amount of sales. वो एक condition है जो achieve करने के बाद आपको मिलेगा. Now that discount we have to, because that means you will be purchasing 1000 units from him. So that is the discount which is subject to or deduction of this discount is subject to two more conditions. First is that it should be specifically linked to the relevant invoices. This discount should be linked to specific invoices. जो आपने सेल की है उससे आप डायरेक्टली लिंक करके बता सकते हो कि हाँ ये यूनिट्स जो हमने इस क्वार्टर में परचेज की थी वो सारी यूनिट्स हम उस पे हमें इतना डिस्काउंट मिल जाएगा 10% का. So they should be directly linked to relevant invoice, and the recipient should reverse the ITC taken on that value. So that 10% of the value which is being reduced, 10% will amount to 50,000. So 50,000 पे जो GST का amount है, that should be reversed by the distributor. Distributor has to reverse the ITC taken because distributor must have taken ITC on entire 5 lakhs once he purchased the cars. Now when he is getting a discount of 50,000 after the quarter or at the end of the quarter, then that discount amount, GST on that discount amount has to be, ITC on that discount amount has to be reduced or reversed. Utna, because that is very logical also, that is very obvious. मैंने कोई गुड्स 5 लाख के परचेज किए थे, मैंने जीएसटी पे किया था उस पे 18%, तो मैंने उसके हिसाब से उसका आईटीसी ले लिया था. अब अगर मैं वो गुड्स में की वैल्यू 4,50,000 रह जाती है मेरे लिए, तो आईटीसी भी प्रोपोर्शनेट होना चाहिए जो मैंने लिया है. तो जो एक्स्ट्रा आईटीसी मैंने लिया है दैट आई हैव टू रिवर्स. दैट मेक्स सेंस एंड दैट इज वेरी लॉजिकल. दैट इज व्हाट लॉ इज आल्सो प्रिस्क्राइबिंग, दैट यू हैव टू रिवर्स आईटीसी. लॉ इज आल्सो प्रिस्क्राइबिंग टू मोर कंडीशंस. वो डिस्काउंट should have been agreed at the time of making supply. This is there in our case, we have agreed it at the time of making supply, plus that is specifically linked to relevant invoices. वो discount amount specifically invoices से linked है. I hope that is clear. Let me see the queries. Shankar is saying if discount value changes daily on purchase taxable value, what will be the selling price for a month? Then this kind of agreement will not pertain. Then, or you can say that computation has to be changed. If he is saying every day I will change the discount, then that has to be linked to the relevant invoices, and you have to compute it separately for all the products. Generally that does not happen. That is very complicated. But if such a complicated arrangement or agreement pertains or exists, that can also be possible. But these three conditions should be satisfied at the end of the day. First is discount should have been, the agreement for giving the discount should have been made at the time of making supply. Agreement तभी हो जाना चाहिए. Discount आप बाद में दोगे, लेकिन आपने supply करते वक्त ही बता दिया discount मिल जाएगा, ये conditions satisfy होनी चाहिए. Second, the discount should be linked to relevant invoices. जो डिस्काउंट है आप इनवॉइसेस में शो कर सकते हो, लिंक कर सकते हो, ताकि जब बाद में आपको उसका क्रेडिट नोट इशू करना है आप इनवॉइसेस आइडेंटिफाई कर सकते हो. थर्ड इज द बायर शुड रिवर्स द आईटीसी टेकन विद रिस्पेक्ट टू द डिस्काउंट अमाउंट. जो डिस्काउंट अमाउंट पे जीएसटी पे किया है उसका जो आईटीसी बायर ने लिया है उतना अमाउंट उसको रिड्यूस करना पड़ेगा. वील टेक द एग्जांपल, वील सी इट बाय वे ऑफ एन एग्जांपल. जस्ट अंडरस्टैंड द प्रोविजन. अभी हम प्रॉपर एक एग्जांपल लेंगे जिससे हम ये समझेंगे कि कब आपको आईटीसी रिवर्स करना है, कब नहीं करना है. एवरीथिंग वील सी. ओके. अच्छा, Harshal is asking, it means supplier issue such note regarding reverse. Yes, supplier has to reverse, issue a credit note to the buyer. Buyer will reverse the ITC on his own. Supplier सिर्फ एक क्रेडिट नोट इशू कर, वो हम कभी देखेंगे. क्रेडिट नोट और कमर्शियल नोट्स, क्रेडिट नोट्स, वो हम देखेंगे. डू वी हैव टू पे इंटरेस्ट ऑन इट? नहीं, वी डोंट हैव टू पे एनी इंटरेस्ट. हमारा वो आपको डिस्काउंट मिल गया, ठीक है, आपने वो पहले जितना ले लिया क्रेडिट, ठीक है, दैट लॉ अलाउज, आप उसको बाद में बस रिवर्स कर दीजिए, दैट इज सफिशिएंट. ओके. अप टू पोस्ट डिस्काउंट अमाउंट, up to post discount amount need to be reversed the ITC. yes, धनलक्ष्मी, जो आपका पोस्ट डिस्काउंट अमाउंट है उसके ऊपर जो आपने जीएसटी पे किया है दैट यू हैव टू रिवर्स, उसका आईटीसी आपको रिवर्स करना है. ठीक है, तो आई थिंक डिस्काउंट पॉइंट इज ऑल्सो क्लियर. Sushmita is saying, in case before or after supply, what if discount is not included in the discount has to be shown in the invoice. आपको अगर उसको लेना है तो आपको डिस्काउंट इनवॉइस में शो करना है. लॉ प्रोवाइड्स इट कि आपको उसको एक्सप्लिसिटली यू हैव टू शो इट इन द इनवॉइस. अगर आपने उसको शो ही नहीं किया, देखिए अगर आप जो नॉर्मल ट्रांजेक्शंस की बात करोगे डे टू डे लाइफ में जो होते हैं, आपने जहां पे प्राइस कहीं कैटलॉग प्राइस ही नहीं है, डिसाइडेड ही नहीं है, नॉर्मल नेगोशिएशन हो रही है, आपने 10,000 से शुरू किया, करते करते आप 5,000 पे आ गए, 4,000 पे आ गए, एंड यू आर नॉट शोइंग इट इन इनवॉइस, देन ऑल्सो इट्स फाइन. वो प्राइस तो आपने वही लिखा और आपने वही चार्ज किया है. बट अगर आपने इनवॉइस में शो नहीं किया, इनवॉइस में आप पूरी वैल्यू शो करो और आप बाद में बोल रहे हो कि मैंने एक डिस्काउंट भी दिया था और मेरे प्राइस कम कर दो, देन इट विल नॉट बी अलाउड. ये उस केस को कवर कर रहा है. अदरवाइज आप अगर आपने ट्रेड डिस्काउंट ही लिया, यू हैव नेगोशिएटेड द प्राइस एंड यू आर नॉट शोइंग इट इन दी, आपने स्ट्रेट अवे 10,000 से 6,000 पे 7,000 पे एग्री कर लिया, देन ऑल्सो इट इज सफिशिएंट. बट अगर आप बाद में उसको इफ यू वांट टू प्रूव इट, देन यू शुड शो इट इन दी इनवॉइस ऑल्सो कि हाँ ये मेरा प्राइस था एंड दिस मच प्राइस डिस्काउंट आई हैव गिवन. So I hope this is clear to you. Now we'll see some examples. I think I have taken some examples also. Discount point is clear. Post supply discount में 3 conditions are there. Just have a quick glance. Discount is as per the agreement existing at the time of supply. Discount can be linked with the relevant invoices and proportionate ITC has been reversed by the recipient. Recipient ही credit लेगा उसका, recipient को reverse करना है. A post supply discount, this circular is there. That I will take later on. First of all, whatever understanding we have developed till now of section 15, we'll take some illustrations or sorry examples. Based on that, you will get some clarity on section 15. फिर हम आगे बढ़ेंगे. We'll take test your knowledge questions also, circulars also, everything we'll cover. चैप्टर में जो भी कुछ है कुछ बचेगा नहीं. हम टेस्ट योर नॉलेज हो सकता है कुछ एक क्वेश्चंस रह जाएं, बट हम प्रोविजन कोई मिस नहीं करेंगे. Circular will not miss any of the circulars, any of the explanations. So quickly start with the first example. I hope my screen is not visible. That's what I wanted to ask you all. But if I zoom it, यहाँ से करूँ. Okay. थोड़ा सा मिनिमाइज करना पड़ेगा ना. Is it now visible? Actually, full screen. Okay, full screen is not visible. Now tell me, my full screen is visible now.
No, ma'am.
No, full screen is not visible.
Yes, now okay, ma'am.
But now is the text readable to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then fine. So let's start. Okay, good. I got your message. First question. Wholesale price for 1 metric ton of cement sold by X Limited in ordinary course of business is 7,000. Price of 1 metric ton of cement sold by X Limited to its subsidiary company. Oh, sorry, it's not subsidiary here. It's a related company, I would say. Okay. And then price of 1 metric ton of cement sold by X Limited to unrelated customer. Read it as related and this is unrelated. So these 3 prices are given to you. Quickly tell me in the chat box what is the value of supply as per section 15. Amit right, Sushmita, Harshal, correct answer, Karan, then Lakshmi, Kashish, all of you are correct. I am expecting more answers. We have almost 37 students in our Zoom session, and many more are watching in the this YouTube also. So we have another portal also where students can provide the answers. So I'm expecting answers from all of you. Please provide the answers. Yes, Tanu. No, I'm saying to related, but this I want to know the value of supply of 1 metric ton of cement, price which it uses for on at which it sells to related customers is 5500. To unrelated customer it has sold to 6700. So I want to ask the price for the goods sold to unrelated customers. Some of the students are confused which price, which transaction value I'm asking. So I'm asking the not the transaction value, I will say value of supply of this particular transaction which I have made to an unrelated customer. Y, जो सेल मैंने Y कस्टमर को की है उसकी वैल्यू क्या होगी. उस प्रोडक्ट को मैं जब रिलेटेड कस्टमर को देती हूँ, रिलेटेड कंपनी को, आई सेल इट एट 5500. So Tanu, I want your answer to be changed now. Now you can revise your answer. Maithili, I'm saying sale of goods made by X Limited to Mr. Y. So Ashok is right. Amira, once again check your answer. Tanu is right now. Jayashri, absolutely correct. Gabbar, you are right. Purab, Tanu, now you are right. Hamaira is right. Maithili, even if even you write it in example instead of increase question level, okay, then we have to see whether holding subsidiary is related or not, because that is a different question. I'm not expecting at the intermediate level for students to answer that. Purab Sharma is saying yes, but what is the transaction? Achha, you have given answer, now you are telling why is it so. That is right. Nikunj is right. Veerashri, Hemin, once again check your answer. Gayatri is right. Ankita is right. Now let us come to the correct answer. Correct answer is 6700. Price at which the goods are sold in the ordinary course of business, or the wholesale price, is the price at which they generally sell it when in the ordinary course of business they are selling at 7000, but an unrelated customer comes and I sell the goods to him at 6700. So since the customer is unrelated, price is the sole consideration. Nothing has been mentioned that we have given anything, he has given anything else to me. So I will take the transaction value or the price paid by the customer to me as the value of supply, which is 6700. Similar goods or same goods I am selling to my related person at 5500, but I'm not asking for related person's value. I'm just asking value of supply for customer Y. So for customer Y, I will take the value only at which I am selling it to him. Whatever value I am taking for related person, that will not be relevant at all. And even for related person also, we have to see, we have to go to the rule 20. We have to go for rule 28 and then we have to see whether which provision applies, but rules are not there in your syllabus. So आपको उसमें नहीं जाना, आपको सिर्फ 6700 is the value of supply. That is your answer. Harshal is saying as per section 16, 6.7k is paid, payable. Yes, absolutely right. That is part of SPAT. Absolutely right, Harshal. That is what we had learned today. So after doing these examples, I will come to know how much you have understood. Example 2. GrandBiz contracts with ABC company to conduct a dealer's meet. It has to conduct a dealer's meet. In furtherance of this, GrandBiz contracts with vendors to deliver goods or services like water, soft drinks, audio system, projector, catering, etc. at the venue on the stipulated dates at the stipulated contract. GrandBiz is liable to, now GrandBiz is the supplier. Okay, GrandBiz is liable to make these payments as contracted. The software dealer supplier wants payment upon delivery. ABC company agrees to pay the bill raised by the soft drink vendor on GrandBiz on receiving the crates of the soft drinks. This amount is not billed by the GrandBiz to ABC company. So एक बार हम सप्लायर और रेसिपिएंट इसमें देख लेते हैं कौन कौन है. Now you just have to tell me whether this payment which has been the soft drink supplier जिसको payment करी है ABC company ने. Let me tell you what I am actually asking you. Payment made by ABC company to soft drink supplier. Soft drinks, okay. Whether it will be include the payment made by ABC company to soft drink supplier, I am assuming this to be 1 lakh rupees, and the total value of the contract to be 6 lakh rupees. Now this total value does not include this 1 lakh. I'm just doing it for the sake of simplicity. So the Grand Biz has charged 6 lakh rupees from the ABC company. Apart from that, it asked it to pay 1 lakh rupees to the soft drink supplier. Now what is the value of supply? I have already started getting the answers. Should be included. Yes, Tanu, right. Sushmita, right. Yes, Sushmita, absolutely right. Harshal has given the clause also, section 15 subsection 2 clause B. Very good, Harshal. It will be included. Grand Biz to include the amount 7 lakhs plus. Yes, 7 lakh plus GST it is going to pay. Very good, Nikunj. Gayatri, correct. Nanlakshmi, correct. Then Purab, yes, it will be included. You are right, Purab. Ankita, Karan Singh, Karan Shah, sorry. Karan has also given the clause. And Harshal, yes, right. Kashish, you are right. Kabir, you are Kambir, you are actually, you have given the correct treatment, that is, it should be included, but you have not given the correct clause or reason. Reason is not correct. Here I would like to stress upon one more point, so I will come back to your reasoning. Tanu is correct, Hemin is correct. Now, so all of you are correct that this will be included. Ashok is also correct. To be inclusive. He is saying that 1 lakh plus GST, Harshal is saying that inclusive. We are not going into that. That we have to see from the terms of the agreement, that whether he is separately charging GST on that or not. But otherwise, for the timing, it will be added. Here you will not take it inclusive unless and until your question specifies that he is not giving GST separately. Abhi to GST, in our case, GST has to be paid by ABC and companies separately because value has not yet been determined. We are determining the value. When we say 6 lakh plus 1 lakh will be your value, so GST has to be paid on 7 lakh. We will not say 1 lakh will be inclusive of value. That happens when he is not ready to pay that amount. Agar ABC Limited is disputing that amount and he says, I will only pay 1 lakh rupees to you, no GST I will be paying, but that would be provided to you in the question, then you will treat it that way. Otherwise, 6 lakh plus 1 lakh, 7 lakhs, and GST will be charged on over and above 7 lakhs. Please mind it. Second thing, one of you mentioned the reason as incidental expenses. Now, many of you gave me the correct clause, section 15 subsection 2 clause B. Here there are 2 points. One thing, that when you are mentioning it, when you are giving it in your answers, when you are giving it in a computational question, suppose this is one of the items or one of the values which is given to you in a computational question, then you have to give the reasoning as this is the amount which was obligation of the supplier, but it was incurred by the buyer. If you write only this, that will be sufficient. You need not mention specific section, subsection and clause. Why I am saying this? Because sometimes students only mention section, subsection and clause and they feel that they have given the correct reasoning. What we expect from the students is not section, notification, circular numbers. We expect them to know the provision and write the provision. That is why if I ask you a proper explanatory note, for every computational answer you have to mention the explanatory notes, you have to give reasoning for every particular item, and that reasoning should be the provision of law instead of giving section numbers. Though I encourage section numbers, you should try to memorize them, but don't run after them. If you are able to memorize them because of the revisions you are doing, you have revised the chapter so many times that they get imbibed in your memory, that is fine. But try to first focus on the provisions. Your first priority should be provisions. Go for the provision, write the provision as a reason in the answer. And if you remember the section number, notification number, whatever it is, rule number, for sure, then only you should write. Even at the final level also, we recommend the students first to go for the provision and then go for the section or rule number. That is secondary for us. So what is important is provision. Now, one student has mentioned it as incidental expenses. So that is, now if I say the expense, the payment made by ABC to the soft drink company, soft drink supplier, it is an incidental expense. Will it be correct? Incidental expense, when I say that falls in clause C, though clause does not matter, what matters is the reason. But incidental expenses clause, in this clause, whatever this payment is being made by the supplier, these incidental expenses are being made by the supplier, and they have been charged from the recipient. They have been charged from the recipient. That, and it's not an incidental expense. It is an amount which is the obligation of the supplier, which buyer has actually incurred or buyer has actually paid. So this correct reasoning is also very important. If I mention wrong reason, if I mention it as incidental expenses, though buyer is incurring the expense of supplier, then also it will amount to giving wrong reasoning, and that should not be there. We don't have to just give the correct answer, we have to give correct reasoning also, irrespective of section rule number. Okay, Harshal is saying, I ordered summer juice from Dubai. Supplier of my juice is located in India. He charged also delivered transportation charges. Still it is part of value. He delivered to you the juice and he charged the transportation charges also. He also charged transportation charges are also being paid by the supplier, you want to say. Yes, then it will also be part of value. If not, so why? Harshal, if you can reframe your query. You want to say that you have ordered summer juice from Dubai. So you are located in Dubai, you are located in India only, na? And supplier is also located in India, and he has given you juice, plus he has charged some delivery charges, transportation charges, so they will also be included in the value. That is fine. Now, in fact, one more point I had left regarding the transportation charges. We have a specific point, ex factory price, and yes, both the parties are located, then your answer is correct, that will be included. One more point I will be covering, that is the regarding freight and insurance, but we'll cover it after these examples. Now, next example is a supply priced at 2000 is made with a credit period of 1 month for payment. Thereafter, interest at the rate of 12% per annum. GST on that will be charged separately. For the sake of convenience, I have mentioned this so that you don't get lost in GST and thinking that it is inclusive of GST. No, the buyer will give GST separately. Though I told you that generally it does not happen, but it has been agreed between the buyer and seller that if I do not make the payment on time, I will give you the interest as well as GST on the interest amount also. So that is interest at the rate of 12% per annum is chargeable. The payment is received after the lapse of 2 months from the date of supply. Okay, price is 2000 rupees. Credit period is 1 month. 1 month of credit period is allowed. Now 1 month that you have to see. You see the question and now you answer that. I will not tell you anything. Value you have to tell me. So I hope all of you have answered this. Let me see the answers and then I will tell you the correct value. So answer, Amit, you are right. Harshal, you are right. Purab is also right. As per contract, Harshal is saying yes, it is as per the contract only. Kashish is right. Then Nikunj, yes, Nikunj has given the calculation also, and Nikunj, that is correct. Plus GST separately, yes. So on the value of interest, GST will be charged separately. Yes, Sushmita, your answer is also correct. I'm getting 3 answers. In fact, I'm getting more of 2 answers. So I will write both the answers here. One is 2040 and one is 2020. Hamaira, if you can give me the calculation also. Nikunj, you are right. And then Amit is also right. Yes, Sridhar, you're right that discount is allowed, but how much will be the value that we want to? It's not discount actually, Sridhar, it is interest. So what will be the treatment? It's not a discount, it's an interest. So you compute it again, you see the question again, and then give me the answer. Okay, Hemin is correct. Then Lakshmi, you have to see it again. Methili, amount is not correct, Methili. Neetu is right, Ankita. And yes, Harshal, you have given the reason also why different answers are coming and what is the correct answer. So your answer is correct, I have already told. Sushmita, your answer is correct. Let us see this answer first. Okay, students who are getting this answer, what they have done. Yes, now Mithili, you have given the correct answer. What they are doing, they are saying 22,000 is the value of supply plus interest. Now how they are computing the interest? The question says the payment has been received 2 months from the date of supply. So when the supply was made, after 2 months payment has been made. But 1 month is our credit period. 1 महीने का तो credit period allowed ही है हमारे पास, यानी अगर आप 1 महीने तक पेमेंट करते हो तो कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं चार्ज होगा. After this interest, this credit period is lapsed, then interest of 1% will be charged. For more clarity, we can add it here after the lapse of credit period. Okay. तो जो 1 month का पीरियड बचा है उसी पे इंटरेस्ट चार्ज होगा. तो 2000 इंटू 12%, 12 मंथ से हम इसको डिवाइड कर देंगे तो दैट विल बी 20 रुपीज एंड दिस विल बी एडेड हियर. इंटरेस्ट अमाउंट इट विल कम टू 2020 रुपीज. अच्छा ठीक है. 2 more examples and we'll take the break. We'll take 2 more examples quickly and then we'll take the break. Now, selling price of a notebook is 50. Now we'll do these examples quickly because इसमें बहुत computation नहीं है next 2 examples में. Selling price is 50 for notebooks sold to government and students in government schools. A company receives price-linked subsidy of rupees 30 per notebook from an NGO, so that students can pay rupees 20 per notebook. Okay, this 50 is the price which was actual price. After getting a subsidy of 30 rupees. Price come to 20 rupees. Now tell me what is the value of supply. Correct, Kashish, Surinder, then Karan, Ankita, then Lakshmi. Amit, check your answer. I think you want to say that you want to give the reason, I suppose. Yes, Harshal, correct answer. Nikunj, answer is correct. Tanu, correct. Amira, you want to tell me the amount, you are telling me the value, then you have to see it again. Hemin also has to say it again. See it again. Mithili, correct. Veerashri, correct. Gayatri, Karan. I want to know the reason why are you saying this. Priya has to see again. Neetu, again see your answer. Yes, Sushmita's answer is correct. Tanu, no, Tanu, that's not the reason. See, actually this word government has confused few students. Students who are there in government schools, they are getting a subsidy. So government schools are getting some subsidy, but this subsidy is received by a private company. First of all, private or whatever company, it is being received by a company. So this is a supplier. Okay, and who is providing the subsidy? It's an NGO. So subsidy is not provided by the government. Don't get confused with this government schools word. Students are there in government schools. Notebooks are being sold to them, but that does not make any difference to us. What makes a difference is that who is actually giving the subsidy. Subsidy is being given by an NGO. This is a price-linked subsidy. Both the conditions are satisfied. So this 30 rupees subsidy which is being given by the NGO to the company, that will be included in the value, and that makes the price value as 50 rupees. So please don't get confused with the word government here. Subsidy is not being received by the government. Subsidy is not being received from government. Subsidy is received from a non-governmental organization. Okay. So Purab, now you got the correct answer. It is neither government subsidy. Yes. So, no, it is neither government subsidy nor, and it's a price linked subsidy. So yes, the answer is 50. You are right. Just one more question and then one more example, then we'll take the break, Harshan. So all of you are tired now, I suppose, and you want to take a break. Just this example because it is related to the previous example. That's why I am taking this. Selling price of a notebook is rupees 50. For notebooks sold to government students in government schools, a company receives price-linked subsidy of rupees 30 per notebook from state government, so that the student pays only 20 per notebook. Now I think all of you will give the correct answer, but still I want the answers from you. Yes. So Kashish, Dhanlakshmi, Harshal, Karan, Gayatri, Surendra, Nikunj, Purab, Ankita, all of you are giving correct answers. Veerashri, Sushmita, Mathili. So I think now concept is clear. Hamaira, I will once again explain you the concept in the break if all other go for the break, I will explain you the concept. Sridhar is correct. All of you are correct in this case. Since the subsidy is received from the government, so it is excluded or it is not included in the value, and the value of supply will become rupees 20, that is after subsidy. So
Ma'am,
we take, yes.
in a previous example, you asked about the NGOs, right, ma'am? In that case, ma'am, suppose I am taking the NGOs as the subsidiary or the whatever we say key part. In this is a major portion is held by the government, so it can be not a it can be
No, no,
help
no.
to reduce. No, ma'am.
Whatever is the composition of NGO, if you are receiving subsidy from central government और यू आर रिसीविंग सब्सिडी फ्रॉम स्टेट गवर्नमेंट, आपको सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट समझते हो ना, आप कोई भी और तरह की एंटिटी हो तो नहीं चलेगा, आप सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट या स्टेट गवर्नमेंट हो तो ही आपकी सब्सिडी रिड्यूस होगी, अदरवाइज सब्सिडी विल नॉट बी रिड्यूस्ड,
मीन्स
सब्सिडी
मैम
विल नॉट
इवन
बी।
अगर गवर्नमेंट कंपनी होगा तो
हाँ,
भी नहीं चलेगा क्या फॉर द रिडक्शन? ओके।
सिर्फ स्टेट गवर्नमेंट और सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट से जो सब्सिडी हो रही है वो ही आप रिड्यूस करोगे, बिकॉज फिर वो अदरवाइज इट वुड हैव बीन स्पेसिफिकली मेंशन्ड इन दिस पर्टिकुलर क्लॉज।
मैम 7:45 को आएंगे ना फिर से फॉर द लेक्चर?
7:45 में हम जल्दी आएंगे क्योंकि हमें
ओके
अभी बहुत
मीन्स
सारे क्वेश्चंस भी करने हैं, तो
which
आई,
specific time, ma'am? Can you
हाँ,
told me which specific time which we come for the?
वी आर ब्रेकिंग, हाँ, 10 we'll take a 10 minutes break, but exact at 7:40 we'll come back. In the break, anybody who has any query he can write in the chat box, I will answer that. आपको जो भी queries जिसको पूछनी है, एक हमायरा को मुझे थोड़ा कुछ बताना है, शायद ये, I hope हमायरा your concept for subsidy is clear. If you want to discuss it, we can discuss it in the break. Others we'll meet at 7:40 और 7:40 पे हम बाकी concepts और questions करेंगे.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so break लगा दीजिए संकेत. Resumed? Okay. Welcome back, students. Welcome after the break. Before the break, we have taken few examples of inclusions in the GST, in the value of supply for GST. Now, we'll continue with examples so that we cover all the inclusions and as well as discount exclusion. Then we'll take one more point of outward freight and transport, outward freight and insurance. Then we'll come to the questions. And if time permits, I will take the MCQ quiz also, because there the questions are a bit tricky and students generally find difficulty in them. So we'll try to cover that also. Now let us see this example which is there on your screen. The agreement of Raju Electrical Appliances with its dealers is that the purchase of rice cookers over 1000 pieces in Diwali month will entitle them to a discount of 5% per cooker. Quantum of discount can be determined only at the end of the Diwali month. राजू इलेक्ट्रिकल अप्लायंसेस ने बोला कि जितने भी डीलर्स हैं सबको हम डिस्काउंट दे देंगे दिवाली मंथ के बाद, अगर आपने 1000 हमसे परचेज कर लिए, जैसे जैसे आपकी सेल होगी आप परचेज करते रहोगे कुकर्स, राइस कुकर्स. सो इफ दैट परचेज exceeds 1000 rupees, then we'll give you a discount of 5%. First of all, tell me quickly whether it is a post supply discount or it's a pre supply discount. मतलब सप्लाई जो आपकी at the time of supply, so it's a post supply discount or not. इसमें यूनानिमसली सब बोल रहे हैं पोस्ट सप्लाई डिस्काउंट है, तो ये डाउट किसी को नहीं है. अब टेल मी दिस 5% डिस्काउंट whether it will be allowed as deduction, yes, no. Quickly tell me. Right, Harshil? Mathli saying no, Karan saying yes, Nikunj and Surendra. इसमें थोड़ा mixed answer आ रहा है, मतलब some students are still saying no. Surendra, Kashish, Hamaira saying yes. Tanu and Jayashri and this Mathili is saying no. Okay. Nikunj is saying Raju Electronics will issue credit note to its dealers with respect to 5%. Exactly, Nikunj, you have written the exact provision. Yes, Ankita, right, because it's agreement already made. सुरेंद्र, यही आपको समझना है, जो एग्रीमेंट है दैट विल बी मेड बिफोर एट द टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई इटसेल्फ. हमने 3 कंडीशंस की थी. वी हैड डन 3 कंडीशंस फॉर पोस्ट सप्लाई डिस्काउंट टू बी अलाउड एज डिडक्शन. फर्स्ट वाज दैट एग्रीमेंट हैज टू बी मेड एट द टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई फॉर डिस्काउंट. डिस्काउंट हैज टू बी लिंक्ड विद द इनवॉइसेस. पोस्ट सप्लाई डिस्काउंट का मतलब क्या है, सप्लाई के बाद मिलेगा, लेकिन एग्रीमेंट कब हो जाएगा, जब सप्लाई हो रही है. थर्ड वॉज आईटीसी हैज टू बी रिवर्स. अब आईटीसी की कंडीशन यहाँ पे नहीं दी हुई है, एंड इफ सच अ क्वेश्चन कम्स देन यू हैव टू write it as a condition that this discount will be allowed as deduction from the value of supply only if the recipient, that is the dealers, they reverse the proportionate ITC. अगर वो proportionate ITC reverse करते हैं, क्योंकि this discount is a post supply discount. Moreover, it is agreed at the time of supply. The agreement was made at the time of supply. Supply के टाइम पे सबको पता था 1000 pieces परचेज करोगे डिस्काउंट मिल जाएगा. उसके बाद कितना डिस्काउंट मिलेगा ये भी पता था, 5% पर कुकर, एंड दैट डिस्काउंट विल बी गिवन आफ्टरवर्ड्स. अब वो डिस्काउंट कैसे दिया जाएगा, वो किसने लिखा था उसमें, हाँ, निकुंज हैज रिटन इट वेरी स्पेसिफिकली, एंड दैट इज व्हाट आई वांटेड टू टेल यू ऑल. आई टोल्ड यू दैट वी विल डिस्कस इट आफ्टरवर्ड्स. दिस हैज टू बी गिवन बाय वे ऑफ अ क्रेडिट नोट. सप्लायर इशूज क्रेडिट नोट, सप्लायर इशू करता है क्रेडिट नोट टू द बायर, और जितने अमाउंट का डिस्काउंट देना है. अभी यहाँ पे सेल प्राइस नहीं दिया हुआ. सपोज मैंने माना कि 1000 रुपीज एक कुकर की वैल्यू थी, 5% पर कुकर डिस्काउंट मिल गया, यानी 5 रुपीज का डिस्काउंट है. और 1000 रुपीज किसी सम पर्सन हैज परचेज सपोज 2000 कुकर्स, सम डीलर हैज परचेज 2000 कुकर्स, 5 रुपीज का डिस्काउंट होगा, तो यानी 10,000 रुपीज का उसको डिस्काउंट दिवाली मंथ के एंड पे मिल जाएगा. So credit note for the amount of 10,000 will be issued by Raju Electrical Appliances to the respective dealer, and on that GST amount will also be separately shown. So 10,000 पे 18% अगर हम show करते हैं तो that will be 1800. 1800 का उसके ऊपर GST चार्ज होगा. तो credit note will be 10,000 और उसके ऊपर GST जो है वो 1800 का रिवर्स होगा. तो जो डीलर है उसको 1800 का जीएसटी रिवर्स करना पड़ेगा, तब उसको वो डिस्काउंट अमाउंट उसकी वैल्यू में से लेस हो जाएगा. तो जो कुकर की वैल्यू होगी टोटल जितनी भी थी, पर कुकर कितनी वैल्यू रिड्यूस होगी, 5 रुपीज, यानी पर कुकर वैल्यू हो जाएगी 995, और उसने 2000 जो कुकर्स परचेज किए थे उसकी वैल्यू अकॉर्डिंगली रिड्यूस हो जाएगी. साइमल्टेनियसली he has to, the dealer has to reverse the ITC, proportionate ITC कितना रिवर्स करना है उसको, क्योंकि उसने 2000 कुकर्स परचेज किए थे, तो टोटल 1800 रुपीज का ITC रिवर्स करना है. Yes, absolutely right, Harshal. And Nikunj, you are right. ITC of 5% will be reversed by the dealer. I hope this point is clear to you all. अच्छा, कुछ queries इसमें बीच में हैं हमारे पास. अच्छा, हमारा it is clear now. Surinder, it is clear. Purab saying, ma'am, as per agreement, if condition is met, yes, it should be, condition is that agreement should be there at the time of supply. Then yes, already agreement has been made. Invoice पर नहीं mention है. Invoice से linked होना चाहिए. It should be linked. देखो invoice पे तो mention नहीं हो सकता. जब आपको 1000 की invoice issue हुई होगी per cooker, at that time it was not agreed. At that time it was not provided. It was only agreed. So that will not be there in the invoice. Credit note will be issued, which is linked to that invoice. आपको credit note issue होगा, उस credit note में आपका वो amount specified होगा. So it is linked to the invoice. उस invoice से linked होगा. That discount has to be linked to the original invoice. It will be by way of credit note. और ये credit note जो है ये GST का credit note है. GST में जो आप GST लॉ में इशू करते हो, बिकॉज इसमें आप अपना डिस्काउंट GST का जो अमाउंट है वो भी शो करोगे, यानी 10,000 प्लस 1800. 1800 इज GST अमाउंट. GST का 1800 का GST जो है उसका भी आपको रिवर्सल कराना है ITC का. आपका जो अमाउंट है वो रिड्यूस होगा. 10,000 से वैल्यू रिड्यूस होगी, 1800 से आपका GST का अमाउंट रिड्यूस होगा फ्रॉम द टोटल वैल्यू ऑफ इनवॉइस ओरिजिनली इशूड. ओरिजिनली जो इनवॉइस इशू हुई होगी वो आपकी इशू हुई होगी 1000 रुपीज का एक कुकर है, हम 2000 कुकर्स बोल रहे हैं, ठीक है. सो इट विल बी yes, so it will be 20 lakhs. Value will be 20 lakhs plus GST. इसमें 20 lakhs में से आपकी वैल्यू रिड्यूस हो जाएगी ये वाली, पहले तो 10,000 की, और जो GST जितना पे किया होगा उसमें से 1800 का अमाउंट GST में से लेस हो जाएगा. प्रोवाइडेड डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर्स और डीलर्स हैव रिवर्स्ड 1800 ऑफ ITC. So I hope this is clear to you all. Okay. So it is clear to everyone. Actually, it's post-supply discount, therefore not on. Yes, Harshal, you are right. That it's a post-supply discount. That's why it's not.
If a supplier is failed to reverse process throughout the credit note, then what will be the?
It will be added to his output tax liability. The amount will be added to his.
Then it will be not a part of the value of supply. Right, ma'am?
It will be that suppose 1800 ITC, this dealer has not reversed. Credit note was issued and dealer has not reversed the ITC. Then it will be added to his output tax liability. 1800 because after issuing credit note, his liability will not reduce. हम credit note क्यों issue कर रहे हैं? We are issuing the credit note to get his liability reduced. His liability, GST liability should be reduced by 1800. That is what we want to give. The total effect is that his liability should reduce by 1800.
Yes, ma'am.
That will not happen because he has not reversed the proportionate ITC. आप ऐसा नहीं कर सकते कि आपने ITC GST पे भी नहीं किया और क्रेडिट भी ले लिया. दोनों तरफ से आपको बेनिफिट नहीं हो सकता. So you have to इनफैक्ट जो आपने पे ही नहीं किया GST या जो GST आपने एक्चुअली में आपकी लाइबिलिटी नहीं बना फाइनली, यू कैन नॉट टेक ITC ऑन दैट. हाँ, 10,000 तनु क्रेडिट नोट का अमाउंट है, ठीक है. आप नाउ इट इज क्लियर.
यस मैम, क्लियर.
नाउ लेट अस कम टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. इससे आपको ये क्रेडिट नोट वाला पॉइंट ज्यादा क्लियर होगा. प्लीज म्यूट योरसेल्फ. जब आपको क्वेरी पूछनी होती है तब आप अनम्यूट करके एक बार आप नाम जरूर बताया करो, तो पता चल जाता है कि कौन बोल रहा है. थोड़ा एक कनेक्शन और ज्यादा अच्छा बनता है. अब नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है आपका पिंक एंड ब्लू लिमिटेड. इससे मतलब दिस क्वेश्चन विल एक्चुअली टेल यू दी अमाउंट्स, थोड़ा और क्लैरिफाई होंगे. वैसे पुराने एग्जांपल से भी काफी क्लियर हो गए होंगे आपको. जस्ट लेट अस डू दिस एग्जांपल आल्सो. पिंक एंड ब्लू प्राइवेट लिमिटेड सोल्ड गुड्स टू ऑरेंज प्राइवेट लिमिटेड. अब हम इसे PBPL और OPL बोलेंगे शॉर्ट में, बार बार पूरा नाम लेना पॉसिबल नहीं है. सो PBPL हैज सोल्ड गुड्स टू OPL on 15th January at 50,000 rupees. Some goods it has sold. PBPL has sold to OPL. Amount was 50,000. Exclusive of taxes. So before tax 50,000 was the amount. That is the value of supply. GST was charged for rupees 9,000 at the rate of 9%. 50,000 का 9% 18% GST चार्ज किया तो 9,000 का IGST उस पे पे किया. Term of supply stipulated that discount at the rate of 2% will be given to OPL if it makes the payment within 1 month of supply. OPL avails the credit of 9,000 in the month of January and makes the payment on 10th of February. सबसे पहले तो आप लोग मुझे ये बताइए whether it is a post supply discount or not. अब जो लोग नो कह रहे हैं वो एक बार नो की मुझे रीजन लिख के दो. Those who are saying no, please tell me the reason कि ये पोस्ट सप्लाई डिस्काउंट क्यों नहीं है. क्योंकि यस तो बहुत सारे लोग कह रहे हैं.
Because मैम ट्रांजैक्शन वैल्यू.
Who is there? आप नाम बताओ.
हर्षल इज हियर मैम.
हर्षल बताओ क्यों नो है.
Because the transaction value जो agreed हुए between the PBL and OPL. So and it is condition showing ma'am. So
It is
at the time of agreement.
हाँ. At the time of agreement.
At the time of consideration for the 50,000. That is why I am telling कि no, it is not a.
देखो पोस्ट सप्लाई डिस्काउंट की हमने पोस्ट सप्लाई डिस्काउंट का मतलब क्या होता है अभी तो हम देखेंगे डिडक्शन होगी या नहीं होगी वो एक सेपरेट चीज है. पहले ये पोस्ट सप्लाई डिस्काउंट है या ये डिस्काउंट बिफोर और एट द टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई है दैट वी हैव टू सी. ठीक है. सप्लाई was made on 15th of January at the rate of at 50,000 rupees. ठीक है. डिस्काउंट would have been given. जनवरी में सप्लाई हो गई. अब हम मंथ वाइज चलते हैं बहुत मोटा मोटा चलने के लिए. जनवरी में सप्लाई हो गई 50,000 रुपीज पे और पेमेंट हुई है उसकी 10th फरवरी को. लेकिन जब सप्लाई हुई थी 50,000 की वॉज डिस्काउंट गिवन एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम. क्या उस टाइम पर डिस्काउंट दिया था. वॉज द प्राइस चार्ज वॉज डिस्काउंटेड और नॉट. 50,000 रुपीज का जो प्राइस था उस टाइम पे डिस्काउंट मिला था. नहीं मिला था उस टाइम पे. है ना. तो इसका मतलब ये डिस्काउंट सप्लाई के टाइम पे नहीं मिला. बहुत सिंपल सा है. दिस इज वेरी लॉजिकल कि जब हमने सप्लाई की तब हमने डिस्काउंट दिया या नहीं दिया. तो जो हमने अभी तक सप्लाई डिस्काउंट देखे थे जहां पे हम बोलते थे कि ठीक है सप्लाई के टाइम पे डिस्काउंट मिला वहां पे एग्री भी सप्लाई के टाइम पे हुआ था और डिस्काउंट एक्चुअली में अवेल भी उसी टाइम पर कर लिया जाता है या डिस्काउंट भी उसी टाइम पे ऑफर हो जाता है. दैट इज गिवन एट द टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई. बट हियर वी हैव नॉट टेकन द डिस्काउंटेड अमाउंट. PBPL has taken 50,000 rupees in full in entirety from OPL. इतना तो सब एग्री करेंगे that PBPL has taken the full amount from OPL. So when full amount has been taken at the time of supply, so we cannot say that it is a discount at the time of supply. It is a discount after supply. Supply हो गई 15 जनवरी को पूरी वैल्यू पे हो गई पूरी वैल्यू पे टैक्स पे हो गया. तो सिंपल है. इफ यू वांट टू डिटरमिन फॉर एनी क्वेश्चन इन एनी ऑफ द एग्जाम क्वेश्चन और वेयर एवर यू वांट टू डिटरमिन इट इन योर डेली लाइफ ऑल्सो. डिस्काउंट अगर आपने गुड्स को परचेज करते हुए डिस्काउंटेड वैल्यू पे की है then it is discount at the time of supply. But if you have paid the entire consideration at the time of purchase or availing the services and thereafter at some other point of time that discount is being availed by you, then that is a post supply discount. So I hope nobody has any doubt regarding post supply discount कि ये post supply है या नहीं है.
Yes ma'am, you are right ma'am. It is a post supply.
It is a post supply discount. If anybody still has any doubt, please write in the chat box or you can ask, unmute yourself and you can ask me.
Because condition is mentioned here.
Condition is mentioned
Condition
here.
is mentioned here कि 2 month का. So 2%.
क्योंकि यहाँ पे लिखा क्या है कि आपको डिस्काउंट कब मिलेगा. यू विल गेट अ डिस्काउंट वंस यू मेक अ पेमेंट इन 1 month. नाउ सेकंड थिंग इज कि आपको डिस्काउंट मिलेगा या नहीं मिलेगा. चलो गुड. एवरीबडी इज नाउ क्लियर दैट इट्स अ पोस्ट सप्लाई डिस्काउंट. स्टिल इफ एनीबडी हैज एनी डाउट यू कैन मेंशन इट. दैट इज नॉट अ प्रॉब्लम. आई विल वंस अगेन एक्सप्लेन. नाउ दिस इज अ पोस्ट सप्लाई डिस्काउंट. सेकेंड थिंग कम्स कि ये डिडक्शन होगी या नहीं होगी. अब सेकेंड पॉइंट आता है. उसके लिए हमारे पास 3 कंडीशंस थी. फर्स्ट कंडीशन दैट discount was agreed at the time of supply, which is fulfilled. Discount should be linked to invoices. Discount can be linked to invoices. 50,000 का एक invoice है, उस पे discount मिल रहा है, वो भी कर सकते हैं. Third is reversal of ITC. बट उससे पहले हम देखते हैं कि पहले हम उसने ITC अवेल किया था. He availed the ITC. Recipient has availed the ITC of 9,000. Discount इस केस में वो अवेल कर रहा है या नहीं कर रहा. He has to fulfill the condition. Condition was that he has to make payment in 1 month. 15th January को सप्लाई हुआ है एंड 10th February को he has made the payment. 1 month से पहले पेमेंट हो गई. So that means he would have, OPL would have got the discount. Discount OPL को मिलना चाहिए क्योंकि OPL ने 1 month से पहले पेमेंट कर दी है. OPL has made the payment before 1 month, so it has to get the discount. Now that discount amount will be 50,000 into 2%. It will get a discount of 2%. Okay, that will be 1,000. Okay, yes, that will be 1,000 discount amount. Now we are assuming given rate of IGST is also given to you at the rate of 18%. So IGST of or you can say GST payable, IGST payable on this is 180 rupees. In fact, the nature of, here one more thing you should keep in mind, that the nature of supply will remain the same. You will charge the same rate of GST which you had charged in the original supply. So 18% GST will be charged, and when the credit note will be issued. Now we are assuming one thing, that ITC would have been reversed, or we have to mention this condition. If it is not mentioned in the question, you will mention that we are deducting this post supply discount provided the ITC has been reversed by the proportionate ITC has been reversed by the recipient, जो कि OPL है. But before that we have to see how much is the amount. So credit note will be issued for, we have to assume while writing the answer in the question paper, and that is very prevalent practice you should do. Wherever you have any doubt or where two situations are possible, always give an assumption and write your answer. So credit note value will be 1,000 rupees and 180 rupees GST will be there in the credit note. So credit note कितने का issue होगा? 1,000 plus 180 rupees GST. Now this credit note is a GST credit note. Okay, because here we are assuming that ITC has been reversed. अभी I think any of you had asked me कि अगर वो ITC reverse नहीं करता, somebody had asked me ना कि उसको उसमें add कर देंगे हम output liability में. In fact उसके बाद जो अगर वो उसको reverse ही नहीं करता है, if he does not reverse it, then what will happen? तो जो हमने बताया था वही पॉइंट है कि उस केस में आपकी लाइबिलिटी में वो ऐड हो जाएगा एंड दैट विल नॉट रिड्यूस योर जीएसटी लाइबिलिटी. Anybody has any doubt till this point of time? Yes, Nikunj, you have given 10th February PBPL issues credit note to OPL, that is of rupees 1,000 plus GST amount 180. So OPL will have to reduce the ITC of 180. Yes, in the previous question, let's come to the previous question once again, that it has to reverse ITC of 180. अगर OPL आपका 180 का ITC reverse नहीं करता है तो उस केस में उसकी प्रोपोर्शनेट जीएसटी लाइबिलिटी, रिस्पेक्टिव जीएसटी लाइबिलिटी रिड्यूस नहीं होगी. ठीक है. सेकंड पॉइंट आता, तो ये क्रेडिट नोट जीएसटी क्रेडिट नोट इशू होगा. सेकंड केस आता है, इसी क्वेश्चन को अब हमने दूसरे तरीके से देखा. पीबीपीएल हैज सोल्ड गुड्स वर्थ रुपीज 50,000 and charged an IGST of 9,000. Subsequently, OPL negotiated the price and discount of 2% was offered to OPL. अच्छा, अब हम एक्चुअली ये देखना चाह रहे हैं जहां पे डिडक्शन अलाउड नहीं होती. एक केस तो ये है कि उसने आईटीसी रिवर्स नहीं किया तो डिडक्शन अलाउड नहीं हुई. दूसरा है डिस्काउंट. तो अब दूसरा केस ये है कि उसने जो सेकंड कंडीशन है वो ये है कि हमने बोला एग्रीमेंट शुड बी एट द टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई. नाउ it has not been agreed at the time of supply. It was agreed after that. हमें अगर जीएसटी लॉ में डिडक्शन चाहिए तो हमें जो डिस्काउंट होता है दैट शुड बी एग्रीड एट द टाइम ऑफ मेकिंग द सप्लाई, बिकॉज वी हैव 3 कंडीशंस. एग्रीमेंट शुड बी एट द टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई, लिंक टू इनवॉइसेस एंड आईटीसी रिवर्सल. नाउ वी आर सेइंग आईटीसी रिवर्सल यहाँ पर है, यहाँ पर हमने आईटीसी रिवर्सल मान लिया, बट हमने दूसरी कंडीशन को खत्म कर दिया जो कि ये थी कि इट वाज एग्रीमेंट वाज एट द टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई. ठीक है, अभी आंसर करते हैं. Few students are writing in ECPL also, so I will be taking their queries now because just now I have seen. But before that, let's complete this example. Now, in this example, agreement is not at the time of supply. अब agreement बाद में हुआ है, जो कि अभी शायद हर्षल का भी डाउट था पिछले क्वेश्चन में कि इट्स नॉट अ पोस्ट सप्लाई डिस्काउंट, क्योंकि पहले पता था हमने उसके बाद नहीं दिया, सप्लाई के बाद दिया है, तो उसे क्लियर हो गया कि ठीक है सप्लाई के बाद मिला है, एट द टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई वी हैव नॉट गिवन द डिस्काउंट, सो इट्स अ पोस्ट सप्लाई डिस्काउंट. लेकिन क्योंकि जीएसटी लॉ कहता है कि पता आपको पहले से होना चाहिए उस डिस्काउंट का, तभी आपको वो डिस्काउंट अलाउ होगा क्रेडिट नोट में, इसीलिए हमारा ये क्वेश्चन उसी तरह से ड्राफ्टेड था कि डिस्काउंट वाज नोन एट द टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई, आईटीसी हैज बीन रिवर्स्ड एंड इट वाज लिंक्ड टू इनवॉइसेस, इसीलिए वी इशूड अ क्रेडिट नोट वर्थ ₹1000, जीएसटी 180 रुपीज, and proportionately value plus GST of the recipient has been reduced from, और जो इस ट्रांजेक्शन की वैल्यू थी, अब वो वैल्यू में से 1000 रुपीज लेस होगा, यानी 50,000 माइनस, इनफैक्ट एक स्टेप और दिखा देते हैं फिर विल कम टू नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. 50,000 प्लस 9,000 की ओरिजिनल वैल्यू थी, जिसमें से वी डिडक्टेड 1000 and we deducted 180. This is the final value. If anybody of you computes it and tell me what will be the final value, 50,000 plus 9,000 minus 1,000 minus 180 will be the value of supply of this transaction as per section 15 subsection 3 clause B. $57,820. Okay. So value will be 57,820. Very good. Now we come to the next question. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन में डिफरेंस क्या है पहले वाले क्वेश्चन से, इनफैक्ट ये उस पर भी अप्लाई हो सकता है, आप बोलो तो कि अगर रिवर्सल नहीं किया तो भी यही होगा. नाउ वी आर सेइंग दैट द डिस्काउंट वाज नॉट नोन एट द टाइम ऑफ मेकिंग द एग्रीमेंट. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल टेल मी इन दिस क्वेश्चन, इरेजर नहीं काम करेगा. ठीक है. नाउ इन दिस क्वेश्चन डोंट सी द नोट्स विच आर देयर, लेट्स स्टार्ट दिस क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम हियर. अब इस क्वेश्चन में फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल टेल मी वेदर इट इज अ पोस्ट सप्लाई डिस्काउंट और नॉट. PBPL has sold goods to OPL at ₹50,000, GST charged 9,000. Subsequently, OPL negotiated the price. OPL ने बाद में बोला नहीं ये तो मुझे बहुत ज्यादा आपने चार्ज कर लिया, आप ऐसा करो मुझे डिस्काउंट दे दो 2% का और मैं आपको जल्दी से पेमेंट कर दूंगा, 1 महीने में पेमेंट कर दूंगा, बट subsequently, not at the time of supply. OPL avails the ITC also and it makes the payment on time, तो डिस्काउंट उसको मिल भी गया, डिस्काउंट भी मिल गया यहाँ पर. वेरी गुड निकुंज, आपने तो एकदम अच्छे से सारे प्रोविजंस पढ़ लिए. सो इन दिस क्वेश्चन दिस डिस्काउंट इज अ पोस्ट सप्लाई डिस्काउंट, बट मुझे इसमें बहुत सारे आंसर्स नहीं आए हैं, बस दैट इज व्हाट आई वाज मिसिंग कि आंसर्स आर नॉट बीइंग गिवन बाय ऑल ऑफ यू. यस, इट्स अ पोस्ट सप्लाई डिस्काउंट, बट इस केस में जो डिस्काउंट है वो जीएसटी में एज डिडक्शन अलाउड नहीं होगा. तो अब उसके पॉइंट ये है कि अगर जीएसटी में अलाउ नहीं होगा तो क्या आपको अकाउंटिंग ट्रांजेक्शन के लिए भी फॉर अकाउंट्स पर्पसेस विल दिस 1,000 रुपीज नॉट डिडक्टेड फ्रॉम दी वैल्यू? क्रेडिट नोट इशू ही नहीं हो सकता क्या? क्रेडिट नोट, गुड, अदर्स आर ऑल्सो गिविंग आंसर्स. सो क्रेडिट नोट विल बी इशूड बट नॉट अंडर जीएसटी, क्योंकि जीएसटी में आप 180 रुपीज अब लेस नहीं करोगे, जीएसटी लेस नहीं, जीएसटी में वैल्यू कम नहीं होगी, वैल्यू विल बी 50,000 ओनली. ओके, 9,000 will be your tax which has been computed. Now we'll issue a financial credit note और commercial credit note, जो कि आपका कमर्शियल टर्म्स में या अकाउंटिंग टर्म्स के लिए जो आप अकाउंटिंग ट्रांजेक्शन्स को रिकॉर्ड करने के लिए आप जो यूज करोगे, ऑब्वियसली आपको वैल्यू तो कम करनी है, डिस्काउंट तो आप उस पर्सन को दोगे ही ना, ओपीएल को आप डिस्काउंट दोगे, बट जीएसटी पर्पस के लिए वैल्यू कम नहीं होगी. सो वील इशू अ कमर्शियल क्रेडिट नोट. व्हाई? बिकॉज this discount will be given to OPL. OPL has made the payment before 1 month. So 1000 discount will be given to OPL, but value will not reduce for the purpose of GST, क्योंकि GST में as a reduction 15(3)(b) के हिसाब से ये allowed नहीं होगा. That is why जो हमने पहले 180 रुपीज की रिडक्शन की थी वो अब नहीं होगी, and this will be the value of supply. That will be 58,000. It is part of cash discount, and discount will bear by supplier. Discount will be, yes, in the books of accounts, we'll record it as 58,000 and GST will not reduce. Reversal की भी कोई जरूरत नहीं है. Supplier will not, recipient will not reduce the ITC, will not reverse the ITC. Why it will not reverse the ITC? Because it has paid entire GST amount of 9,000 and it will avail ITC of 9,000 only. Maithili is not able to understand. Let me tell it again. In the previous example and in the current example, what is the difference? In the previous example, it was a post-supply discount which was allowed as per section 15(3)(b). Okay, Maithili, let me tell you why GST is not reduced this time. Because for allowing it as deduction under GST law as per section 15(3)(b), there were 3 conditions. Agreement should be made at the time of supply. It should be linked with the invoices. Discount should be linked with invoices, and third was ITC should be reversed. Now, first condition itself, that is, it should be agreement to give discount should be made at the time of supply itself, is not being satisfied here. Now, this discount was not known at all at the time of supply. जब supply हुई थी, supply आपको 50,000 rupees में हो गई. Subsequently, that means after making the supply, OPL went to PBPL and it said ki please reduce the price, I will make you payment early, just give me 2% discount, and PBPL agreed. So this discount was not agreed at the time of supply, and that is why one of the 3 conditions, if we see, one of the 3 conditions was that agreement entered before or at the time of supply. Now this first condition itself does not get fulfilled, and that is why it will not be allowed as deduction from the price. So what we will do is, as for commercial purposes, देखो commercially तो आपको उसको discount allow करना पड़ेगा. क्यों allow करना पड़ेगा? क्योंकि उसने आपको price payment जल्दी कर दिया, आपने बोला 2% का discount दे देंगे, that you have to give. But जो GST amount है वो कम नहीं होगा, क्योंकि जीएसटी में आपको जीएसटी के लिए वैल्यू अभी भी आपकी जो है वो 50,000 ही आपकी वैल्यू, उसी पे आपने जो जीएसटी पे किया 9,000 का वो पूरा जीएसटी रहेगा. यहाँ पे वैल्यू 50,000 से लेस नहीं होगी फॉर जीएसटी पर्पस. दैट इज वाई वी हैव नॉट डिडक्टेड दी जीएसटी अमाउंट, क्योंकि जीएसटी तो जितना पे किया था उतना ही है. जीएसटी की रिडक्शन, जीएसटी का अमाउंट रिड्यूस अब नहीं होगा. जीएसटी के लिए वैल्यू 50,000 पहले भी थी, अब भी 50,000 है. कमर्शियल पर्पसेस के लिए हमने सिर्फ जो 1000 की अमाउंट की वैल्यू में जो 1000 का रिडक्शन था वो रिडक्शन इसमें दे दिया है. सो आई होप दिस इज नाउ क्लियर टू यू. इट इज अ पोस्ट सप्लाई डिस्काउंट बट वाज नॉट एग्रीड एट द टाइम ऑफ यस. सो हमारा यू आर राइट. हाउ टू आइडेंटिफाई दैट विल बी प्रोवाइडेड इन द क्वेश्चन. दैट इज द इंफॉर्मेशन व्हिच द सप्लायर और द पर्सन हैज सेड. समबडी वांट्स टू आस्क अ क्वेश्चन?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm Maitri. I'm understood, but in this case, the agreement is made after the supply, so the GST is not deducted, correct? So in this provision shall not include any discount which is given. So
For GST, you have to compute the value. Then what will be the value? 50,000. In the earlier question, value was 50,000 minus 1,000. So 49,000 was the value on which actual net GST would have. Though it is by way of credit note, but actual value would have reduced to 49,000. But in this question, for the purpose of GST, value will remain 50,000 itself. This 1,000 will be reducing only from the value when we are issuing a commercial credit note. But for
Yes,
the
ma'am.
purpose of GST, value will remain 50,000 only. Value will not.
Yes, ma'am. In this case, the discount amount only shall not include in the value of supply. So GST
Yes.
will be included in the value of supply. Is this correct, ma'am?
GST is actually not, if I say it very precisely, GST is not being included in value. Value is actually your GST amount is not. In effect, you can say that your GST amount is not getting. Why is it not getting reduced? Earlier, your value was reduced, so GST amount was reduced. Value for the purpose of GST was reduced, so your GST amount was also reduced. Got this point?
Yes.
Now,
Yes, ma'am.
your value for GST is not reduced. Value for GST is still 50,000. So the amount of 180 was, yes, 180 was the amount. 180 rupees we were reducing since value of
Yes, that one.
was reduced. So that is why now 180 rupees is not reduced. But this 1,000 rupees which I have shown as deducted, this is only for the purpose of the commercial note. In case of GST, it will have no.
Yes, ma'am. For that discount amount 1,000, for that 1,000 amount, the GST for was 180 rupees. That 180
That
rupees
will still be
only
included in the GST. Yes, that is what,
included with the
that will still
GST.
be
That
included.
is not excluded.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
Understood.
Veerashri, financial credit note is generally issued. When I say financial credit note is to be issued, when GST amount is not being reduced, then we issue the financial credit note. Anyhow, we have to issue, and we'll reduce the 1,000 amount, but GST amount will not be reduced. So, if had it satisfied the conditions of GST law, we would have issued a credit note under GST and have reduced the GST amount. Okay. Now, let us quickly take one or two examples so that you can understand the computation of the entire question also, and we can get an idea that how the questions will be coming. So these were all the examples which we have taken. Almost every example we have taken. No claim bonus. No claim bonus, it shall not be, value of supply shall not include any discount as per section 15(3)(a). So no claim bonus is also treated in that manner only. You can read this circular, or if time permits, I will take this circular also. But before that, I want to come to illustration 1. So please tell me whether it is visible to you. It is not getting, sound is not clear. Nilesh is saying sound is not clear. Any problem in the sound?
No, ma'am, it's clear.
Okay, just tell me if screen is visible to. Okay, everybody is telling clear. So let's start the illustration. Before that, Nilesh had asked me some query. Let me just quickly answer that query. Nilesh is asking if discount value change daily on purchase. That I had answered. That is Shankar. Nilesh is saying terms are stipulated in pre-specific, but pre-supply discount terms are pre-specified. In case of pre-supply, see Nilesh, in case of discount before or at the time of supply, that should be the, yes, condition is clear at the time of supply itself. Discount is given at the time of supply itself. At the time of supply itself, discount has been given. Okay, okay. A sound is now clear. And in previous question, PBPL is at or before the discount. So previous question, PBPL question, in both the cases, it was a post-supply discount. I think Nilesh, now your doubt would have been clear. Just give me a message in the chat box so that I can know that you have understood it. Let us start with illustration 1. Same type of test one. We'll take one illustration, one test your knowledge question quickly. Black and White Limited has provided the following particulars relating to goods sold by it to Colorful Private Limited. List price of the goods exclusive of taxes and discounts, taxes levied by municipal authority on sale of such goods, packing charges not included in price above. In fact, this tax has also been shown separately. You can clearly see packing charges are not included in this price. This municipal authority tax, why not included in list price? Because clearly given here, exclusive of taxes and discounts. This list price is not including any tax. It is not including any, it is before giving any discounts. Then Black and White has received 2,000 as price linked subsidy from an NGO on sale of such goods. Price of 50,000 of goods, which is mentioned here, So this is after considering such subsidy. Now this is very important point. I will especially come back to this point after we solve the entire question. Black and White Limited offers, okay Nilesh, now you got the point. Black and White Limited offers 2% discount on list price, which is recorded in the invoice for the goods. 2% discount on list price, which is recorded in the invoice for the goods. Determine the value of supply. I will give you 2 minutes to read the question once again and give me the answer. Moreover, we'll see the answer which is given in the book so that you will get an idea how to write the answers. So you can write sections, you can write anything, but please give the reasoning also. That will help you in scoring marks. So Gayatri has given the correct answer and Amit, yes, till 2000 it's correct, but one thing also has to be reduced. Sushmita, your answer is correct. Neetu, also correct answer. So others have to check their answers again. Ashok, again your answer is correct. So I think we can start with solving the question now. Then Lakshmi is also correct. Surinder, yes, absolutely correct. You have given the computation also. Sridhar is also correct. Karan is also right. And Amit, yes, correct answer. Nikunj, Tanu, something is missing in your answer. Gabbar is also correct. So let us see what is the correct answer. Correct answer is 57,000. How we have arrived at it. Harshal is also right. So we will try to have, just let me announce, we'll try to have one GST Titan quiz maybe in the next class or maybe in one of the classes of the ITC. Then your ITC chapter will start in the next class. We will have one GST Titan quiz for all the topics which have been taken place, or at least from value of supply. So that you will be joining from a separate device. There we will be having GST Titan, one who comes first. Top 3 rankers will be announced in the class, and it will be very fun-filled activity with learning also. So you will learn so many concepts there in such a fun manner. But for that you have to come prepared with this chapter, and then we will have that quiz. Amira, your answer is correct. Mathli is also correct. Mathli, your answer is also correct. Kailash, all of you are right. So I've just announced the GST Titan quiz because somebody asked me in the chat box during the break time. Anybody who was there from the previous batch for May 26, they might be knowing this. And so in next, any of the subsequent classes, we will have that quiz and you all will learn the concept. But please come prepared for this value of supply chapter. I will announce it in the WhatsApp group also for the intermediate so that you can be prepared for that. Now list price is 50,000. There taxes levied by municipal authority will be added because these are taxes other than GST, and any tax other than GST will be included. Packing charges are the incidental expenses. So that is why they are being included. See, I am giving the reasoning which you have to give in the exam. Okay, Hamaira is not in the WhatsApp group. So Sanket, if you can mention the Telegram group is there, sorry. It's not WhatsApp, my mistake, it's the Telegram group. So Sanket, if you can give the link of the Telegram group after the class. Okay, you have joined there. Okay, Hamaira. So in the Telegram group itself, I will put a message when the GST Titan quiz will be taken. Packing charges we will include because these are the incidental expenses. Then price linked subsidy. Now here there is an important point. Price linked subsidy has to be included because it's a price linked subsidy received from NGO. Both the conditions are satisfied. We have done it in great detail. Subsidy has to be includable in the price. It is clearly mentioned in the question that 50,000 is after considering the subsidy. That means from this 50,000, when I say price is after considering subsidy, what is the correct treatment of subsidy? Subsidy has to be reduced from the price as per the accounting treatment, as per the financial treatment. Subsidy is to reduce the price. जो भी सब्सिडी आपको मिलती है उससे प्राइस को आपको कम करना होता है. I have said subsidy price is after considering subsidy. That means in this price subsidy has been reduced. We have to include the subsidy in the price if it is a price linked subsidy received from NGO. So we will again add back this 2,000 rupees subsidy in the price. So we will add here 2,000 rupees also. Had it been mentioned that in this price of 50,000 subsidy has not been considered, please mind it, ये आपको और questions में help करेगा. If in this question it had been mentioned that 2,000 rupees subsidy received from NGO price linked subsidy not considered in the above price or not deducted from the above price, then what will you do? Quickly tell me in the chat box if it is mentioned that this subsidy has not been considered in the above price. This question it mentions it is considered in the above price of 50,000, but if it is mentioned in the question that this subsidy has not been deducted or this subsidy has not been considered while arriving at 50,000 rupees value, then will you again add 2,000 subsidy or not? Yes or no? Sushmita, right. Then Dhanlakshmi, yes, absolutely correct. Kashish, Jayashri, Virashri will not add it to the value. See, all others who have answered that it will not be added, they are right. It will not be again added because the basic treatment is that subsidy should be included in the value. If it is already included, कोई चीज अगर already value में है तो आप उसको दोबारा add नहीं करोगे ना. आपका purpose क्या है कि value के अंदर we say value should include the subsidy. Now, if subsidy is already included in the value by default, then you will not again add it. But in this question, it is mentioned that subsidy is considered from this price. So this price is after reducing the subsidy. So we will add back 2,000 rupees and then we'll give a discount of 2% of 50,000. So 2% of 50,000 is 1,000 rupees and that will make the value 55, 56, 58 minus 1, 57,000. That will be the value. So I hope this question is clear to you. If anybody has any doubt, please let me know. And let us take an next example also we can take quickly because this also has the interest one. If not considered, then it will be added. You are right, Harshal. Now let us see the next illustration. Samriddhi advertisers conceptualize and design the advertising campaign for a new product launched for new private limited for a consideration of 50,000. Consideration is 5 lakhs. It owed rupees 20,000 to one of its vendors in relation to the advertising service provided to it to New Moon Private Limited. Such liability of Samriddhi advertisers. Samriddhi is supplier and Moon Limited is recipient. So such liability of Samriddhi advertisers was discharged by New Moon Limited. New Moon Limited delayed the payment of consideration and thus paid tax of interest of 15,000. Assume the rate of GST to be 18%. यहाँ पे मुझे एक बहुत important point आपको बताना है assumption वाला, because objective है कि concept भी समझना है और exam में कैसे लिखना है वो भी साथ साथ समझना है. We want to know that how do we have to write it in the exam. Now quickly tell me what will be the answer. In fact, here answers can vary because there is a point which I want to tell you all, but try to compute the answer based on your understanding. 5 lakh is the price. 20,000 has been paid by this New Moon on behalf of Samriddhi and interest on delayed payment is 15,000. I'm giving you again 2 minutes. Okay, so I've got answer from Harshal, then Lakshmi, Sushmita, Tanu, Gabbar, it's 5 lakhs. 5 lakh is the value and the 5 lakh is the price which is being charged plus 20,000 is paid by the recipient and 15,000 is interest. So let us quickly see the answer, because I'm assuming, Harshal is saying, I'm assuming that contractual liability. Yes, Harshal, that is true. So first of all, this amount paid to the vendor in relating to advertising service by New Moon Private Limited is out of contractual obligation. This we have assumed. Second thing, so first of all, 5 lakh is the 5 lakh is the price to which we have added the liability discharged by the buyer. So that makes it 5,20,000. After that, the interest for delayed payment is there. Now, in case of interest for delayed payment, if you remember, initially I told you that generally when we are paying the interest, it's a kind of penalty which buyer is paying. So they generally don't pay interest. They generally don't pay the GST element on it. Now, question is silent whether interest on this 15,000, GST on this 15,000 interest has been borne by New Moon Private Limited or not. This has not been mentioned in the question. So it is an equal possibility for the student to assume any of the two. Either he can assume that this 15,000, on this 15,000, New Moon Limited has not paid any GST, and we assume this 15,000 to be inclusive of GST. In case we assume it to be inclusive of GST, then we have to exclude GST from this. That will be 100 upon 118, and this way we will compute the GST value excluding GST for the interest purpose. If we assume it, as most of you have done, because answer is 5,35,000 in most of the cases, by most of the students, if we assume that this 15,000, on this 15,000 interest has been separately paid by the buyer, but that should be generally written. Otherwise, the more logical assumption is to assume that it is inclusive of GST, and that is why I told you that in this question many of the students might not arrive at the correct answer. So here it is since it is not mentioned. If you see, in my previous example, I had expressly mentioned it that the amount is exclusive of GST. GST would be paid separately. But here nothing is mentioned. So initially, the more logical assumption is to assume that this 15,000 is including GST. That is why after doing back calculation, we have arrived at the amount of interest excluding GST, because we know that in value of supply we will not take GST amount, and the answer will change to the amount of discount I have to see will be very good, Sridhar. It will be 12,712. So 5,20,000 plus 12,712, and yes, Veerashri, your answer is also correct. So this will be 5,32,712. That will be your correct answer. And this we have, you can see the calculation also in the study material. We have assumed that the interest has been, inclusive of GST. GST has not been separately paid. But in the study material itself, we have mentioned it very specifically that it is also possible to assume that the interest is exclusive of GST. GST has been separately paid, and in that case the value will be 5,35,000. So both the answers are correct, but it depends on the assumption which you have taken, and please ensure to mention the assumption in your answers. Then you will fetch full marks. So this is very, very important in any of the questions where two possibilities are there. You have to mention the assumption and you have to solve the answer. That will help you in getting the right answer. Right, Surinder, Hamaira, and then Veerashri, Sridhar, all of you have understood the concept and you have computed the correct answer. In fact, let us quickly take one test your knowledge question also, computation question, because previous questions you can easily do. Let us see this particular question. Red Pepper Limited. I think that will be better because or we can take this question. This has one more different entry. Question number 9 has one more different entry which will help you in understanding the concept. So question number 9. Harshal is saying we required to mention the same assumption based in the quiz. That assumption you have to, Harshal, you have to mention that assumption in your answer to get full marks. Or you can say to give the correct answer, you should mention this assumption, because both the assumptions are equally possible. So since it's already 8:30, last question we are taking, because otherwise we'll exceed too much of the time. This is 9th question, says the Messrs Flowpro, a registered supplier, sold a machine to BP Limited. It provides the following information in this regard. Before this, let me tell you one more point, because that is required in this question. I did not discuss it earlier, but let me come to that point quickly. I will take that point with you. outward freight and transit insurance. There can be two cases. This to limited extent we have discussed it earlier also. The freight and insurance, transit insurance and freight from the seller's premises to buyer's premises. Whether it will be included in the value of supply or not, it depends on the contract which has been entered between the buyer and seller. If the contract is to deliver the goods at the buyer's premises, seller ने बोला मैं buyer के premises तक goods को छोड़ दूंगा, सब कुछ उसका खर्चा मेरा है, then in that case the outward freight and transit insurance will be included in the value of supply. It will become a composite supply, and the rate of goods, please mind it, you have understood the concept of composite and mixed supply in chapter 2 only, chapter 2, yes, supply under GST. So that will be a composite supply, and rate will be applicable rate of goods. Why? Because it is a composite supply and primary supply is supply of goods. तो इस transit insurance पे, उस freight पे, दोनों पे किसका रेट लगेगा? goods का रेट लगेगा, composite supply बन जाएगी, value में include हो जाएगा. Yes, right हर्षल. But if the supply is on X factory basis, X factory क्या होता है? फैक्ट्री से बाहर निकलते ही गुड्स का मुझ सप्लायर से कोई लेना देना नहीं है. सप्लायर विल सप्लाई द गुड्स ऑन दी फैक्ट्री गेट टू दिस बायर. ही विल नॉट गो टू बायर्स प्रेमिसेस. बहुत लॉजिकल है, अगर मैंने फैक्ट्री के गेट पे आपको गुड्स दे दिए तो उसके बाद जो भी ट्रांसपोर्ट लगेगा, फ्रेट लगेगा, दैट इज नॉट माई रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, दैट इज द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ द बायर एंड दैट विल नॉट बी इंक्लूडेड इन वैल्यू ऑफ सप्लाई. बहुत सिंपल कॉन्सेप्ट था, बट स्टिल आई वॉन्टेड टू टेल इट टू यू एक्सप्लिसिटली, क्योंकि वहां पर आप जो है उस वैल्यू को, फ्रेट को और इंश्योरेंस को ऐड नहीं करोगे. यहां पर जो जीएसटी रेट है 18%, दैट विल बी रेट एप्लीकेबल टू द गुड्स, और यहां पर जो रेट लगेगा वो जीएसटी में वैल्यू में इंक्लूड ही नहीं होगा, दैट विल बी सेपरेट सप्लाई. यहां पर वो सेपरेट सप्लाई होगी एंड दैट विल नॉट बी इंक्लूडेड इन द वैल्यू ऑफ गुड्स अगर हम एक्स फैक्ट्री बेसिस पे करते हैं. ओके हर्षल, आई थिंक आपने पूछा था, हाँ, पर उस टाइम पे मैंने क्लियर नहीं किया था. अब हम इस क्वेश्चन को देखते हैं, बिकॉज नाउ ऑल द एंट्रीज वी हैव डिस्कस्ड. थोड़ा जल्दी करने के लिए वील डिस्कस एंट्री one by one and we'll solve this question. Price of the machine excluding taxes and other charges mentioned in second and third. ये दोनों चीजें इसमें included नहीं है. बहुत ध्यान से देखो इसमें क्या लिखा हुआ है. ये वाले charges, second charge, serial number 2 and serial number 3 are not included in price mentioned at point number 1. Okay, 25,000 is price of the machine. Third party inspection charges. Now these charges were payable by the supplier, but same have been directly paid by the recipient to inspection agency. Okay, I have started getting the answers. These charges were not recorded in the invoice issued by Flow Pro. Okay, so this is not included in the price already, but this is a supplier's obligation paid by recipient. Okay, let me also compute the answer, then I can tell you. So this will be included or excluded? Tell me. Will be included in the value or not? Let's come to the second. Yes. Included. Very good. तो थर्ड पार्टी इंस्पेक्शन चार्जेस थे, लेकिन पे किसने किया है? बायर ने पे किया है. सप्लायर को पे करना था. अमाउंट सपोज टू बी पेड बाय द सप्लायर बट पेड बाय द बायर. सेकंड, so this will be included. Freight charges for delivery of the machine. Now supplier has agreed to deliver the goods at BP Limited's price premises. Now tell me whether this will be included or not.
Not ma'am, it gives a note.
पहले आप बताइए कौन बोल रहे हैं? सुरेंद्र. हाँ सुरेंद्र बताओ. It will be, freight charges will be included or not?
Yes ma'am.
Let me see what others are answering. Yes, all of you are answering that this will be included. Very, very happy to know that this concept has already been understood by you. कि फ्रेट यहाँ पे इंक्लूड क्यों किया? क्योंकि बायर्स के प्रेमिसेस पर हमें गुड्स को डिलीवर करने का एग्रीमेंट है हमारा, और बायर्स के प्रेमिसेस में अगर हमें गुड्स डिलीवर करने हैं तो ये कॉम्पोजिट सप्लाई बन जाता है. कॉम्पोजिट सप्लाई की वजह से इस पे गुड्स का रेट लगेगा एंड इट विल बी इंक्लूडेड इन दी वैल्यू. सो दिस इज ऑल्सो इंक्लूडेबल. नाउ I come to the fourth point, and that is the point I wanted to test. Subsidy received from state government on sale of machine under skill development program. Subsidy is directly linked to the price. मुझे आपको बताना है कि आप इसको ऐड करोगे या नहीं करोगे ऐड.
Still, I am editing on this.
If we will add it or not.
Yes,
Includable,
ma'am.
not includable मैं नहीं पूछ रही हूँ. Don't answer includable, non includable. I want to know whether you will add it or you will not add it.
Added, ma'am.
Not added, ma'am.
Actually, it is added, ma'am, but here is given a note. Price of the machine is net of the subsidy received. That's why we are not included.
That's why we will not again add it. दैट्स व्हाट यू वांट टू से?
Yes.
तो देखो, अब जो भी आप लोग आंसर कर रहे हो, कुछ लोग लिख रहे हैं ऐड, कुछ लोग लिख रहे हैं नहीं ऐड करेंगे. मोस्ट ऑफ यू आर राइटिंग नॉट ऐड, एंड दैट इज गुड दैट यू हैव अंडरस्टूड दिस कॉन्सेप्ट. क्योंकि जो पहला सीरियल नंबर है उसमें क्लियरली लिखा हुआ है कि ये जो प्राइस है 25,000 का, उसमें ये वाला जो आपका चार्ज है, और जो आइटम नंबर 3 में, सीरियल नंबर 3 में जो चार्जेस हैं, वो दोनों तो एक्सक्लूडेड है. यानी ये दोनों चार्जेस हमने 25,000 में इंक्लूड नहीं करे हुए हैं. बट जो सब्सिडी है दैट इज नॉट एक्सक्लूडेड. दैट मीन्स ये सब्सिडी अभी यहां से रिड्यूस नहीं हुई है, एंड इट इज डायरेक्टली लिंक टू द प्राइस. सब कुछ है, ये इंक्लूडेबल होना चाहिए प्राइस के अंदर, यानी दिस शुड बी इंक्लूडेबल इन दी वैल्यू में इंक्लूड होना चाहिए. लेकिन इट इज ऑलरेडी it is already included in the price. That is why it will not be again added. ठीक है? I hope this point is clear to you all. Veerashri is also saying and others are also saying it is understood. फिर फिफ्थ पॉइंट देखिए. आप फिफ्थ पॉइंट बताइए मुझे.
Discount is 2% only on
500
the
rupees.
500 हमने निकाल 500.
yes.
500 रुपीज का क्या करेंगे? रिकॉर्डेड इन द इनवॉइस.
डिडक्ट करेंगे.
डिडक्ट करेंगे. वेरी गुड. तो 500 रुपीज का डिस्काउंट जो है वो डिडक्ट हो जाएगा. एक मिनट, अब और कुछ है इसमें? नो. प्राइस ऑफ द मशीन नहीं, अब इसमें लेकिन एक चीज जो हमने मिस कर दी, वो क्वेश्चन का लास्ट नोट था.
Therefore, ma'am, I saying कि added it is subsidy even it is from the government.
Even it is from the state government. Sorry, I mistakenly considered it to be non-governmental also, but yes, it is from the state government. And moreover, it is whether it is from the state government, whether it is directly linked or not, that is not an issue. But main point is कि whether it is already considered in in price given at point 1 or not. That is the main point. So till the time I read the question given in the table, it was not clear to me. In fact, हमें जो impression मिलता है वो क्या मिलता है कि 25,000 में से ये वाला सब्सिडी जो है वो consider नहीं हुई है. It is not being considered. This subsidy has not been reduced. But if we consider it, the note which is given at the end of the question, that is price of the machine is net of the subsidy received. अब सब्सिडी का हमें पता है क्या होता है. सब्सिडी हम रिड्यूस करते हैं प्राइस में से, और हमने रिड्यूस की हुई है प्राइस में से, तो सब्सिडी कंसिडर करी हुई है हमने. सब्सिडी हैज बीन कंसिडर्ड फ्रॉम द प्राइस, विच आई डिस्कस्ड इन द इलस्ट्रेशन ऑल्सो, दैट सब्सिडी शुड बी कंसिडर्ड, देन ओनली द ट्रीटमेंट विल बी गिवन. अदरवाइज अगर सब्सिडी रिड्यूस नहीं है और हमें उसको इंक्लूड करना है, रिड्यूस मतलब इंक्लूडेड ऑलरेडी है और हमें इंक्लूड करना है, तो विल नॉट डू एनीथिंग. इफ सब्सिडी हैज बीन रिड्यूस्ड एंड वी हैव टू रिड्यूस इट, देन ऑल्सो विल नॉट डू एनीथिंग. यानी जो ट्रीटमेंट हम सब्सिडी को देना चाहते हैं वो ऑलरेडी उसमें हुआ है, तो हम उसको दोबारा नहीं ट्रीट करेंगे. यहां पर सब्सिडी स्टेट गवर्नमेंट से मिली है, तो स्टेट गवर्नमेंट की सब्सिडी जो है वो एक्सक्लूड होगी. इट विल नॉट बी इंक्लूडेड, इट विल बी एक्सक्लूडेड एज पर सेक्शन 15(2). Subsidy is excluded when it is received from central government or state government. लेकिन वो सब्सिडी अब प्राइस में से एक्सक्लूडेड है या नहीं है वो भी देखना जरूरी है. अगर ये ऑलरेडी प्राइस में से एक्सक्लूडेड है तो क्या हम उसको ऐड बैक करेंगे?
Yes.
स्टेट गवर्नमेंट की सब्सिडी है, हमें उसको रिड्यूस करना होता है, एक्सक्लूड करना होता है वैल्यू में से.
बट मैम उन्होंने बता दिया ना कि प्राइस ऑफ द मशीन इज नेट ऑफ द सब्सिडी रिसीव, तो सब्सिडी रिसीव करके उसको नेट कर दिया ना उन्होंने.
हाँ, नेट कर दिया मतलब क्या होता है?
कुछ भी नहीं करेंगे मैम, छोड़ देंगे.
हाँ, कुछ भी नहीं करेंगे. वेरी गुड. तो मतलब एक्सक्लूड दोबारा नहीं करेंगे. इट इज ऑलरेडी एक्सक्लूडेड फ्रॉम द प्राइस. 25,000 के प्राइस में से जो हमारी 5,000 की सब्सिडी है, मतलब 5,000 ऑलरेडी रिड्यूस था इसमें से, तो यानी ऑलरेडी ये प्राइस रहा होगा 30,000, उसमें से हमने 5,000 की सब्सिडी लेस करके 25,000 का प्राइस निकाला. और यही क्वेश्चन के एंड में दिया हुआ है नोट की फॉर्म में कि प्राइस ऑफ द मशीन इज नेट ऑफ द सब्सिडी रिसीव्ड. अब सेक्शन 15(2) कहता है, लेट्स दैट इज गिवन इन दिस चैप्टर ओनली. 15(2) says that the subsidy received from central government and state government is excludable from the value. It is already excluded from the price, so we do not have to exclude it again. Yes, then Lakshmi, you are also right that it is not to be deducted. It is not to be added also. Add इसलिए नहीं करेंगे क्योंकि नॉन गवर्नमेंटल सब्सिडी नहीं है. डिडक्ट इसलिए नहीं करेंगे क्योंकि गवर्नमेंटल सब्सिडी है और ऑलरेडी डिडक्टेड है. दैट शुड बी द ट्रीटमेंट विच शुड हैव बीन गिवन. इसमें अगर किसी को डाउट है तो आप एक बार प्लीज मुझे बताओ. Anybody has any doubt here?
If note is not given, then it will be subtracted, ma'am.
Yes, definitely. If this note was not given, the same point which we discussed in illustration also, if suppose this was your question and here it is mentioned that compute the answer, then what you will do, you will add to 25,000 this 5,000 inspection charges, then freight charges of rupees 2,000, and you will reduce 500 of the cash discount, and that will be your answer. But since that note has been given to you, and you will, in that case, you will, if it has not been deducted, then you will be deducting this 5,000 also. If that note is not given, it is a state government subsidy. State government की subsidy हमेशा price में से reduce होती है. Already price में included थी, इसलिए हम reduce कर देंगे अगर price में included थी. क्योंकि when we read question up to this point of time, till this table, in point 1 it is not mentioned anything about point 4. It says only 2 and 3 have been excluded. So we can assume, or it is apparent, that in that case point 2 is included. That means subsidy is included here and state government subsidy has to be excluded. So we will deduct 5,000 rupees if note is not there. But since this note is there, so this 5,000 will not be reduced because it is already reduced. Then the answer will be 25 plus 5, 30, 32. This will be 31,500. Yes, and on that value, GST will be computed. So GST rate has been given here. No, GST rate has not been given. We just have to compute the value. Anybody has any doubt till here?
Ma'am, discount mentioned in invoice. Therefore, we deducted from the value of supply calculation.
Discount is recorded in the invoice. Very good. Separate subsidy 5,000. Nikunj is saying yes. Nikunj, your answer is correct. So I hope till this point of time nobody has any doubt. If anybody has any doubt, please unmute yourself and ask it.
Ma'am, here the discount of 2%, which is recorded in the invoice, means it is given at the time of
it is given
sale.
at the time of supply itself.
Supply. Okay.
So that is why it falls under section 15(3)(a). Okay. Though I am not very specific about clauses, I don't want you to remember, but just to correlate with the provision, I am telling you that it is 15(3)(a).
Okay, ma'am. So okay. It is not post, it is given at the time of supply.
It is given at the time of supply.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So I think with this we have covered most of the portion. After that, yes.
Ma'am, in problem number 8 में वो 2 सब्सिडी इश्यूड हुई है, एक गवर्नमेंट से और एक एनजीओ से. तो उसमें गवर्नमेंट वाली को इग्नोर करना होगा ना.
अब एक बार इसमें हम पहले नीचे का जो नोट है वो पढ़ लेते हैं, फिर हम ऊपर जाएंगे. Everybody be with us in this question also. List price of the goods is net of the 2 subsidies received. So in this question also after the table they have given the trick or the point that the subsidies have been considered or subsidies have been reduced from the price. They are net of the subsidies. So whatever list price is given to you of 15 lakh, it is after deducting the subsidy. Okay. Now we have 2 subsidies. First of all, quickly tell me in the chat box regarding subsidy 2. Price linked subsidy received from central government for supply of taxable goods to government schools, exclusively related to supply of goods included in 1. Whether this supply, I am asking you, added or deducted. I'm not asking you includable or excludable. I am asking you whether it will be added in the price of 15 lakh or it will be deducted or no treatment will be given. 3 options you have. Surinder, Kashish, Karan. Just once again review your answers. It is a price link subsidy received from the central government. Yes, Sridhar, correct. Harshal, right. Gabbar, you are right. You wanted to write not, I suppose. And Gayatri, then Nikunj, all of you are right. Then Lakshmi is also right. Those who are writing, yes, Kashish, now you are right. Hemin, again consider your answer. Hamaira is right. Let's come to the correct treatment. This is again the same point which we have discussed in the previous question. This is a subsidy received from central government. Central government subsidy should be excluded from the price. Question, the note to question provides that the subsidy is reduced from the price. ये जो note है ये यही बताता है ना, या जो ये information है यही बताती है कि price minus subsidy is the value, is the amount given to you. Already इस price में से subsidy reduced है, और क्योंकि central government की subsidy है तो हमें reduce करनी ही थी, so there will be no treatment given, no treatment. But if otherwise has been done, then we have to give a treatment to that particular item. सब्सिडी ऑलरेडी रिड्यूस्ड है और सब्सिडी रिड्यूस ही करनी थी तो हम कुछ भी नहीं करेंगे. लेकिन अब यहाँ पे एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है जो मैं आप सब लोगों को बताना चाहती हूँ, विच इज रेलेवेंट फ्रॉम एग्जामिनेशन पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, दो इट्स ऑलरेडी 8:46, जस्ट 2 more minutes and we'll wind up the session. In examination, there will be many items for which you do not have to treat anything. सब्सिडी का तो हमने बहुत क्लियर एग्जाम्पल देखा, जो हमें बार बार ऐसा आता है कि सब्सिडी का कोई ट्रीटमेंट ही नहीं करना. Very, very, very important. Please mark it somewhere. Please note it somewhere that you have to write the reason for that particular subsidy or that particular item. You have to give reason that why you are not treating it in your answer. Don't ignore it. ऐसा ना हो कि आप आंसर निकालें और प्राइस लिंक सब्सिडी को कहीं शो ही नहीं करेंगे. Even if you don't show it in your table, give a note at the end of the table that you have not treated price link subsidy received from central government because it is already deducted from the selling the price, and it has to be excluded from the price, so no treatment has been done. That is very important. That carries marks. If you do not write it and simply don't treat it in the answer, you will lose marks. So you don't have to treat it in the answer. You don't have to give any treatment to this particular subsidy in your answer. But one important thing is you have to anyhow mention it in your answer that why you are not treating it in the answer. Second, point 3. Price linked subsidy received from NGO for supply of taxable goods. Tell me, added to it, whether it is to be added, deducted or no treatment. Then Lakshmi, right, Nikunj, then Sushmita, Kailash, Kashish, Gayatri, Harshal. Harshal is asking something, I will answer it. Veerashri, once again consider your answer. Gabbar is right. Sridhar, Surinder, again consider your answer. Maithili is right. Priya is right. Ashok, reconsider your answer. Harshal is saying it means we require to write note whether asked. Yes, definitely, Harshal. When something you are not treating in the answer, your answer is not affected by any of the items, mention the reason specifically because that carries marks. Again, I am telling you that you have to write why you are not treating the price link subsidy from the state government. As regards price link subsidy received from NGO, it will be added because it's a price link subsidy. It is received from non-governmental organization and it has been reduced from the price. आपके 15 लाख के प्राइस में से 50,000 रिड्यूस हुए हुए हैं जबकि इंक्लूडेड होने चाहिए थे प्राइस में, तो हम इसको फिर से ऐड बैक कर देंगे. 15 lakhs में हम 50,000 रुपए ऐड कर देंगे. सो आई होप दैट आंसर्स योर डाउट. जिन लोगों ने अभी नो ट्रीटमेंट बोला था, दे हैव टू अगेन कंसिडर. इट हैज टू बी एडेड. हर्षल राइट, सुरेंद्र, हेमिन, अब सबको समझ में आ गया. इट हैज टू बी एडेड. With this we come to an end of the session because we have sufficiently taken these questions. सारे points जो मुझे आपको बताने थे वो सब आ गए. How to write your answers briefly I have covered today. In subsequent sessions also, after the end of the class, I will be coming. I will try to take some of the time and apprise you of the key points which you have to consider while appearing for the examination, how to write the answers. Moreover, we'll try to have GST Titan quiz, but I will mention in the group, Telegram group beforehand that maybe I will try to give it before day before that tomorrow or day after tomorrow this quiz will be taken. During the class itself, I will try to take it. Maybe in the last 30 minutes or 45 minutes, we'll try to take the quiz. So please give your feedback for the class. Anything you want to add, anything you want to improve in the class, in the previous sessions also. Feedback is also very important. Practice is also very important. Go back and practice all the questions. Okay, I have started getting answer for this question. So 15 lakh, 2 lakh, nothing has to be done, plus 15,000, 50,000. So 15 lakh 50,000, then 15 lakh 70,000, 15 lakh 15 lakh 85,000, and then late fee recipient has agreed to pay 6. Now this has to be done back calculation, so I have to see that. this will not be taken as 6,000. This will be 6,000 into the rate of tax. Is it given to you? Yes. So it will be 100 upon 118, and then we have to arrive at the answer. It's okay, Nikunj. That is not a point. You should know the answer. Okay, thank you, Hamaira. So yes, it was in this batch. This was my first session. In last batch, I had taken few classes in the beginning, so I had an interaction with that batch. But yes, this was my first interaction with this batch, and I was very happy. You all interacted, you all participated, and you have been excellent students. So I was very happy. Thank you, Surinder. Thank you for your compliment. Thank you, Hamaira, and thank you, Harshal.
Ma'am, I have a doubt
Yes.
regarding
Please,
the
please tell me your name.
discount given. I
Hmm.
am Shushmita.
Sushmita, yes,
Uh,
Sushmita, tell me.
at the when a discount is given after the supply, so there were one of the conditions is that it is specifically linked to relevant invoices, right? So there, does it mean that it relates to the transaction? Is that how we are supposed to look
Yes,
at it
yes,
from?
absolutely right. We want
Okay.
to say that it relates to that particular transaction, because when I say it is linked to the invoices, we already know that it would not have been there in that particular invoice. That is not possible. At that time, I was not aware that that discount has to be given. So it should relate to that particular transaction. That is what the intention of the law is. So there you are right.
Okay, so when we saw that example of a dealer of cooker,
Hmm.
there it was saying that in the later date they are going to get a discount. So it means like for all the invoices of all those cookers, it gets covered. That
Yes,
is how we
yes,
have to look
yes,
at
yes, yes,
it. Okay, ma'am.
definitely, definitely.
Understood. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Okay, Harshal, you had seen my lecture in YouTube, yes, and maybe in the previous batch you must have seen. Thank you, Ashok. Thank you, Harshal. Thank you, Nikunj. Uh, can we say this like tricky notes in question is examiner like? In question is examiner like. Okay, you want to say that examiners like tricky points in the question, maybe. Or you want to say something else, then you can reframe it. Thank you, Gayatri. Thank you, then Lakshmi. Yeah, examiners generally like the tricky points, and you have to mention everything in your answer. You give reason for everything. Yes, net of two subsidies received means it is deducted from the list price. Yes, Veerashri, you are right that these two subsidies have been reduced from the list price. So list price is after the government subsidy, after the non-government subsidy, both. Thank you, Sushmita. So I think we can wind up the session now. No more queries. Everything has been resolved. Yes, I try to make it as interactive as possible, Harshal.
Hello, ma'am.
Like,
Mara speaking.
yeah, yes, tell
I
me.
just want to ask if we are issuing the commercial credit note for accounting purpose, will it not make any mismatch in the books of accounts and the GST portal for the taxable
Will
amount?
not make any mismatch. What was your name?
Humaira.
Hamaira. Hamaira, it will not make any difference or any mismatch. Why? Because that GST discount is not being given at all. You are not giving any discount of GST either on the GST portal or in your books. Same treatment is being given. That commercial note, why we are saying? Because GST credit note you cannot issue. GST credit note you will issue only when you are giving discount of GST. So GST credit note will not be issued. But the point arises that if you know you will not issue any credit note at all, then how that 1,000 discount you will give? In our example, it was 1,000. So how will you give that 1,000 discount? For that, giving that 1,000 discount, we require the commercial note. And when we give 1,000 discount, it will be there in my books of accounts. GST portal is not at all concerned with your commercial credit note, because your GST amount is not going to be reduced. You have taken the transaction value as 50,000. You have paid GST on that. The recipient has taken credit on that. So the entire credit, the supply chain is complete, or the everything is matching at each point of time for the GST portal. Same is there for your books of accounts also. In books of accounts, you have shown a discount of 1,000 rupees, and your books of accounts will also match, because GST discount you anyhow have not given either on the GST portal or on the in your books of accounts. Got it?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, okay.
Ma'am, one more thing. This is Shushmita.
Yes.
Section 15, subsection 4 and 5, what does
Hmm.
it say?
Okay. Subsection 4 and 5. Yes.
Yes.
Let me come to that quickly. Let me come to that, so that if you remember in the beginning of the session itself, I had discussed that we'll go to the rules for determining the value where price is not the sole consideration, where the person is related, buyer and seller are related. In that case, we'll go to the rules. That is what section 4. Section 4 is giving power to the CGST rules to make provision or to make rules for determining value in case where either of the conditions of subsection 1 are not fulfilled. Subsection 5, there is a specific notification which provides you the activities or the supplies for which the value will be determined as per the rules. Because both these subsections pertain to the rules and rules are not there in the intermediate syllabus, that is why I have not stressed much upon subsection 4 and 5, but still they take you to the rules. So value in both these cases will be determined as per the valuation rules, which is not there in your syllabus. Harshal is asking one thing, 8th point, late fee is included in tax, so we take net of late fee. Late fee is included in, yes, we have to take net of late fee, Harshal, we have to include late fee, and we will take late fee after taxes. Yeah, you want to say, I think you want to say late fee net of taxes, that is true.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Already included in the 6,000.
Already included, so we'll do back calculation and we'll exclude tax from it. So whatever is the value of late fee into 100 upon 100 plus value of rate of tax, that will be the
that is
value.
given in tricky manner. Payable is not additionally payable. It means it is already net.
It is already it is included in the tax, is already included, so we have to make the back calculation. Late fee is waived, then it is included. अच्छा, late fee अगर waive कर दी जाती है, हाँ श्रीधर का point important है, अगर late fee waive कर दी जाती है, that means it is not being collected from the buyer, then in that case it will not be included in supply. अगर late fee waive ही कर दी गई है, यहाँ पे हम टैक्स की बात नहीं कर रहे हैं, ये श्रीधर का पॉइंट है कि अगर लेट फी आपको लगनी थी, लेट फी 1000 डिसाइड हुई, 2000 डिसाइड हुई, लेकिन फाइनली आपके सप्लायर ने वेव ऑफ कर दी कि लेट फी मत पे करो, तो वी ऑलवेज से कि प्राइस एक्चुअली पेड और पेबल, समथिंग विच इज डिसाइडेड बट नॉट पेड बाय द सप्लायर कैन नॉट बी इंक्लूडेड इन द वैल्यू, तो वो आप इंक्लूड नहीं करोगे. प्रॉब्लम 10 में आई थिंक गिवन है, तो फिर ठीक है, उसको आप वैसे कैलकुलेट करोगे. हर्षल की वैल्यू ठीक है, रिसिपेंट ने पे नहीं किया, हाँ दैट इज वाई इट इज एडेड. यू आर राइट. ओके, सो आई होप ऑल योर डाउट्स आर क्लियर नाउ.
Thank you, ma'am, for such a nice session and giving us
Thank
extra
you.
time.
Please tell me your name also, because actually I am not able to see it on my screen. Acha,
My
Prachi.
Prachi, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Actually,
Thank you,
I
Prachi.
was not able to text you in the chat box. That's why I'm just saying it on.
You all are always welcome to unmute yourself and ask your questions. Just only thing is that we have to do both the things. We have to maintain the decorum of the class also and try to resolve all doubts also. So that is why a balance has to be there. Some have to write in chat box, some can unmute. That way it is always, it maintains, a balance is maintained. So Karan is saying every
Okay,
time we
ma'am.
have to assume GST is included. Yes, Karan, by default you should mention that GST is included. But in case you want to assume GST is not included, I know which point you are asking. There you have to mention explicitly in the note that I have assumed this way and I have solved it this way. Okay, Sridhar, so everything is clear to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Very great
Thank
session.
Thank you so much. That gives us
I'm
motivation.
Harshal, ma'am.
Thank you all of you. So good night. We'll try to meet in other sessions, in subsequent sessions. I will try to meet as quickly as possible to all of you.
Very curious कि next session कब आएगा.
Thank you so much. Actually, it makes us feel good when we get such type of feedback from the students. Thank you, Hamaira. Thank you, Karan. Thank you. Good night. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Dhanlakshmi.